No, but five and dime. What does that mean exactly? Anyways, I've always wondered that.
I was just making reference to where you shop.
No, I shop at Walmart.
Kind of the same. So I got to make a joke about you.
Uh-oh. What I do now?
Who the hell was that? Oh, I was talking to Billy. So me and Billy were shooting the breeze. And you had made the comment about bringing up just for fun or something at the Walmart. Somebody recognized it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, wearing it. Yeah.
So Billy was like, you know, you're special when you get recognized at the Walmart. I said,
well, it depends.
I said, I'm going to have to play her a song. And this is like 2 weeks ago. I said, I'm going to have to play her a song by the girl married to Blake Shelton. Amanda Lambert, is that her name? And famous in a small town.
Oh, I'm not famous, but
no, it's a joke.
Oh, I know,
Stephanie.
No,
they recognize me down at the Walmart. Woohoo!
We need to redo another one. You know, Colt Ford has "Meet Me at the Waffle House," so we need to do a parody of his with something Walmart.
Meet me at the Walmart. It's going down. I just found out that my pants was on the ground. Meet me in the belt section. Not Bales. I said Walmart. Anyways, I'm running out of time. I'm too busy laughing over here.
Yeah.
It would have to be a parody about meet me at the Walmart and my pants are going down. They're touching the ground. My drawers are hanging out. There ain't no doubt. I need a wife beater long enough to cover my Peter. Because if your pants are going down,
Peter,
but if your pants are going down, you know, I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness.
People are like, oh my God. And so it begins.
Yes.
In a galaxy far, far away from here.
And this is the last morning that we'll have DJ Scotty. For
and how effed up is it? AT&T's acting stupid. Like the day I'm getting ready to leave, AT&T's acting stupid. So I was like, Steph, be prepared. You might be unplugging a router and counting to 10 and plugging it back in 100 times. You're trying to earn that new shirt now. That spandex one.
I needed a workout shirt.
I don't want to bust on Mike, but it's funny. He got these body armor spandexy kind of shirts, and we've not tried them on. So let me, for the record, we've not tried them on, so I don't know. But they're those form fitted shirts.
Yes.
I am not a sexy man. And Stephanie's not a sexy man either.
No.
And we are going to look like a busted can of biscuits.
I'm not wearing that out in public. I might wear it under a shirt.
I hope they're not form fitted. I really do. I like that breathable material, but I hope they're not form. Can you imagine me, you and Mike wearing those shirts?
No.
It's going to look like we were shopping in the kids, section.
It ain't happening.
Busted can of biscuits, I tell you.
That's why I said I wear it under a shirt. I needed another one to wear to the gym. So
I'm going to bend over. It's going to look like a blowout. You see that bubble? Look right there. That love handle just shot out of nowhere. Just took out that small kid. Warning, don't walk around Scotty if you're short. Little Richard, you might end up with a black eye. The biscuits might bust. So anyways, that's how our morning's going.
Yeah.
How about
Scotty's teaching me?
I don't want to go all on whatever on this Baltimore crap, but yeah. Wait, before I start busting, I need to see if Ravens Renovation is listening. Because,
that's where he's from.
Yeah, I mean, that's his place.
It's a very messed up situation up there right now.
Well, I had something I wanted to say, but I'm gonna wait and make sure that he's listening before.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not going to wait till Oz gets here. Well, Oz is going to come and talk about his what is it? Town Topic Tuesday. What did he name it?
Yes.
Town Topic Tuesday.
Yes.
Too many T's. T.
If you say TT anymore, I'm gonna go get you a wet wipe. Do I need to go get you a diaper? You're a little large. I might have to go get you the whole case and a roll of duct tape.
Hey.
Hello, her butt is as wide as my hand. If we counted,
It depends.
shush, if we counted your ace like we were selling a horse, you are 10 hands high.
Well, it depends.
Well,
on
in
what
your
kind of
case,
diaper you're
in your case, you're 10 hands wide. You definitely are not 10 hands high.
I might be. Well, no, I'm taller than that. My horse was 17 and a half hands tall, so I might be 10 hands tall.
Woman, just because you've had 10 hands placed on you by your family does not make you 10 hands tall. Remember, meet me at the Walmart. It's going down.
Yeah, it's going
down. I just
down
found
all right.
out my Fruit of the Looms are touching the ground. Yeah, we need to write that.
That and the Me So Hungry. That's going to be a good one, too.
Yeah, because that part, if we write Me So Hungry, we're going to have to bust it out like somebody's got caught eating some Cheetos on aisle 3. Like popping some Cheetos and drinking a couple of Monsters.
Well, we were talking about, like, because you know how the song starts, and talking about calling Pizza Hut, do you deliver? You know, saying things like that. And
I already see some
good parodies.
No,
coming.
I mean, I see some Married with Children. Somebody's going to be sitting in the lawn section, a couple fold out chairs. Pizza Hut's going to come up. Got a delivery. Oh, right here. Right here. Thelma, did you go over there and get us a cold one?
Somebody tagged me in something yesterday. I can't remember who tagged me in it. I think it was Rich Archer, actually, that it was Married with Children, and it had Marcy. She was in a store, and this man walks up to her and says, "Aren't you Bruce Jenner?"
Oh, no, that would be hilarious. And nowadays, considering the fact.
Yeah.
Jeff Dunham, I saw a post that says Jeff Dunham is saying, Bruce Jenner is such a great guy, and he's going to make a pretty good woman. And he's standing with Bruce. I saw a picture yesterday at the Walmart of on like a People's Magazine or whatever, where Bruce had on glasses, like your kind of glasses, not sunglasses, but real glasses. Lipstick, some blush.
Oh, he looked like he was wearing lipstick in that interview, and you could tell that he's getting the lip injections. It
is what it is. It is what it is. And I'm not even all that worried about it. I mean, come on. If he's happy, somebody ought to be happy.
You know, if he looks in the mirror and he's not happy with what was looking back at him, and he always felt trapped and everything, you know, let the man do what he needs to do.
Well, it is what it is. You know what? How do you tell somebody not to live whatever way that they're living? I mean,
what business is it of?
I try to tell people to better themselves, tell them they're not living right, they need to better themselves. But that's, to each his own. The thing is I have a right to choose whether I want to be part of it or be around it. Me and my mother had a nice argument one time over a cousin that wanted to bump them gums. And I tried saying to her, she's like, well, he's your family. I said, I don't care. She's like, but you can't get rid of your family. Yes, you can. I already only see the guy like once a year at a family reunion. I don't speak to him the other 300 and some odd days. I don't speak to him. I don't see his face. I don't speak to him. He is no different than the guy I see pushing a buggy at the Walmart. Hey, how you doing? I'm more sociable to a complete stranger at the Walmart than I am this chump that's part of the family.
I've got a cousin like
so
that.
For me, she's like, but he's family. I don't give a crap. I'd pee on that bush before I'd pee on him if he was on fire.
Family doesn't steal from you. Family doesn't
don't get all up in your
But
personal
no,
stuff.
I mean, I'm just saying family doesn't do what some people
Right.
family
This guy's
has
just
done.
rude. He wants to be a Facebook bully and get smart and start fights with the family over Facebook. And I'm like, y'all know how to solve that, right?
Delete.
Well, you know, it's Steve. You have to just forgive him. No, the hell I don't. Delete, block, remove. And they're like, but you can't do that from your life. Yes, you can.
You sure can.
And then the idiot was smart enough to move back out of the state so we don't have to see him.
I wish mine did.
Who cares? You know, he thinks he's so much better than everybody, but yet he's letting his brother live here in poverty. Like, come on, big money. You so big and awesome. Take care of your family. But no, you're too busy trying to live it up and then talk smack about your family. But then you want to act like you're this great guy. I don't make no bones about it. I'm an ace-hole. I'm an equal opportunity hater. If you do stupid, I'm going to laugh at you. I'm sorry.
He'll call you out on it.
And I'm probably going to call you out on it because I live in the real world. I just live in the real world. I don't believe in sugarcoating it. You know, you go watch some Mary Poppins if you want somebody to sprinkle some sugar on top of your crap and expect somebody to swallow it.
Or the Cosby Show. Yeah.
What the hell's the Cosby Show got to do with it?
Well, they always fix their problems in the first, in the 30 minutes. It's always fixed by the end of the show. That's not real life. It's make-believe.
Kind of like I thought you were intelligent there for a minute. That's make-believe. You just come out of nowhere. You can watch the Cosbys.
Well, that's true.
Why didn't you say you could watch Leave It to Beaver at that point?
That too.
Any of those
30-minute shows.
Go back to whatever planet you were on for a second. Okay, so now Crestwood Ravens Renovation is listening. So here's what I got to say that's funny about that place up north where them goons are acting crazy, beating up people, taking stuff and ripping people off. And apparently, that town's known for fighting. I mean, because you got the football player that want to slap a hoe. Then you got now the kids acting stupid. I guess their role models are the football players that wanted to smack a biatch up. That's a song by Prodigy, by the way.
Or the football player that killed someone and got away with it.
Oh, see, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
So this is a town of violence.
Yeah. That's the way it looks.
He'll be texting me some horrible stuff in just a second.
No, and it's right there at Washington, D.C., too.
No, my only comment behind this, and I said it this morning in a post, is how stupid is it? And I'm going to use I want to say stupid with the most insulting way of saying it. Stupid. You can't fix stupid. Stupid should be painful. We've got volcanoes erupting around our planet. We've got one volcano that's already destroyed a city. We've got all these people coming together to save lives of people they don't even know. And then on the opposite side of the planet, here in the good old USA, the home of the free, we're supposed to be the powerhouse of the world. We're supposed to be it. We're supposed to be the bomb diggity of the planet, and we are over here self-destructing. So we've got Mother Nature acting crazy around the world, but on the other side of the planet, people are coming together to save lives, and over here, we got people trying to take lives. And we look like a bunch of hillbilly backwoods jackasses with the way that we're treating our world.
Yeah, and they said that the president told the mayor not to arrest people for rioting.
Go down there with paintball guns that are the tear gas ones and start lighting those kids up.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it is.
Light their asses up.
That mama.
Tear gas them, pepper spray them, light them up. Where are their parents?
Well, that one mama.
And the way the law works is if they're all under the age of 18, the parents are held responsible for their actions. Class action lawsuit right there.
Oh yeah. Because look at what all they've destroyed. I mean, the cars that they
once
burn.
you break the law's broken. Fix it. Stop it. If this was the Wild Wild West, this crap would have been solved already. You know what? It'd be like, let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the. Come on.
You know, and it's a messed up situation why they're rioting. But
How about how stupid is this? So yesterday, that channel you told me to go to.
Yeah.
So a guy's interviewing a woman, a black woman, right? So he's like a Hispanic guy interviewing a black woman. Why are you rioting? And she keeps trying to turn it racial. He says, well, trying to compare this to Ferguson doesn't work because most of the police officers here are minorities.
Mhm.
Well, they bring in white people from other cities. But most of the police officers here are minorities. So what is it that you're protesting for? Y'all have got to get my point. What are you protesting? Most of the police officers are minorities. Y'all got to get it figured out. I swear it might as well have been a white guy with a mullet, no teeth, a PBR in his hand, and a freaking tornado flying by with Dorothy, the Seven Dwarfs, and Grandma's trailer. That's how stupid it was. I was just sitting right here drinking this beer, and that trailer flew by. A tornado is right here. Don't you see it? That is how stupid this woman is.
Oh, wow.
And then because she kept saying the same thing, the guy who was in the studio says, time for a commercial. Because that was the, why are you riding? Because y'all don't get our point.
Okay, so what's your point?
What's your point?
And then now
There's no white people in the studio. I don't know what the point is. It's crazy.
and this morning I was seeing they were interviewing this man. He was a black man, and it was a black man that was interviewing him. And he said that all of this rioting is due to how hard they are on the drug laws.
How does that make sense?
That's what I'm trying to figure.
I was in Walmart yesterday and I overheard this and I turned, because you know me, I turned and I asked the question. I asked a question to two guys, and I'm not trying to pull a white black card, but it's two black guys talking, and I said something and they said, you just don't understand. And I went, no, I don't. You just don't get it. And I went, nope, I don't get it. He said, life is hard for a black man. I went, but breaking the law is breaking the law.
Mhm.
Once the law's broken, your color means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because when a black police officer goes to arrest a black man, how do you scream you're doing this because I'm black?
Thank you. Yeah. When you have a black attorney that is, went through school and is there prosecuting another black person, how can you say that it's being done because I'm black?
Let's catch this real quick. Just for Fun Radio.
Good morning.
What's happening?
Good morning.
So when are y'all going to do an uprising? The chairs are too high. The tables are too high. The countertops are too high. When is there going to be an uprising? And in your case, would it be a mid-rising?
Yeah, it'll be the rising of the busted kneecaps.
That's right. Shins across America. Everybody's all of a sudden, every sports authority will be sold out of shin guards and knee pads and elbow pads. Anything that y'all can whack with a chair leg.
Oh, love it. Oh,
Steel toe boots to go up for sale. You know, look at the rise of the economy. It'd be like the game Whack-A-Mole. Steph's joking.
It started coming back up through my nose.
I bet you don't like that flavor now.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, man.
So we're going to have all the tall people, hands across America. We're all going to unite and hold hands. Little Richard and all them are going to come out looking like hockey players. Shins across America. Snap, crackle, and pop, baby.
Gotta love it.
So what'd you call for other than me to pick on show people? I told you I'm an equal opportunity hater.
That's right. That's right. Hey, just think, I'm going to live a lot longer than you because it takes longer to pump your blood through your body, so it's cool. But
you're going to live a lot longer than me anyways, because I heard dwarfs live like hundreds of years. Watch The Hobbit, dude. I tell you.
Yep. Our hearts don't have to work near as hard. Oh,
Steph's turning red.
Hey, I don't know what she's worried about. She's gonna live a long time too.
Oh yeah.
No, she's gonna drink herself to death.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Mm-mm.
That or choke on whatever she's drinking this morning.
Yeah, the
Monster.
monsters.
Oh God.
Speaking of the Hobbit,
Yeah. Oh,
she does
Lord.
have the hairy feet.
Nuh-uh, I vetoed them.
I vetoed them. So what you call for other than me to like just pick it in the same measures, I guess.
Well, I was actually watching on the news this morning, and I saw a media story that I actually liked. It's hard to watch the media anymore because of all the crap, but they were, talking about the protests and the riots and all that jive. Well, it centered out on one mom beating the crap out of her kids.
Yes.
I was going
And I
to bring that up.
I was like, that is awesome. And then at the end of that segment, he goes, I wished all parents were like that. That's exactly what the guy said at the news. And I'm like, man, you couldn't have said it no better. That was awesome.
Well, that's where I was going to go with too, because it was hilarious that she just goes, here's the thing. Here's the complete thing. People can get pissed all they want. The KKK are a bunch of losing piece of crap human beings. Anybody that wants to stand up and scream their race is better and they need this and they need that, but they want to hide their face, are cowards.
Yes.
With that being said, these guys, these teenage people, all dressed up in their black little outfits, screaming into the television, hiding their face.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. So you want to dog the Klan. I'm dogging the Klan too, but you want to dog the Klan about how horrible they are, and you say this for hundreds of years, and now here you are, the total opposite. Well, you're only the total opposite due to your skin color, and your outfit is the total opposite. But other than that, you're doing the same crap.
And
Created another clan is all it really was.
That's all they've done is
Yeah.
created another Klan.
and, now they're saying that the Bloods, the Crips, and another gang called the Black Gorillas are supposed to all be getting together and calling for a nationwide killing of all white cops.
I'm sorry, but can I make a quick comment? Why would you name your gang the Black Gorillas? Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, black gorilla family, black gorilla something to that. But it's Black Gorilla something.
And you know what we do to the gorillas over there?
Paint their back silver.
No, we cut their hands and feet off and make ashtrays out of them.
Oh.
I was trying to give you a redneck Steph answer.
Yeah. The only reason Steph knows what the whole silverback thing is because every time she tries to crawl under the table, it's probably just been painted.
I got you.
No, I know because of Willie B. And for those listeners that don't, yes, he's dead, but I remember going to the Atlanta Zoo and seeing him as a kid.
But she's got a stuffed one hanging up in her closet.
I really do have a
next
stuffed
to the
Willie
John
B.
Wayne commemorative place.
Oh Lord.
Jesus Christ. Is this what the day we have to look back to the mother? I think it's awesome that the mother is smacking the hell out of the boy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, trying to yank his hood off. And
Yes.
I noticed that too. She's trying to take it off. So hey, there's a camera right here. I want them to see you.
I don't know why.
What you're doing is wrong.
Why she didn't just grab him by the collar and not let go. Quit smacking him for about 5 seconds, long enough to get your hands around his dang neck and yank it off.
Mhm.
Because every one of them, they've already made the comment that they're going to prosecute. But you know that Obama and all the other crap is not going to want to prosecute. But every one of these kids have committed a crime, and they should all go to jail.
And then
that should all be held in the local jurisdiction anyway. That shouldn't need to be a federal issue.
And then they were saying today, I was listening on the radio, they were talking about today how I guess they called school up there or something. I'm not real sure. But one of the DJs was talking about how, well, if it's a low poverty area and most of the kids get free or reduced lunch and that's the only time that they eat, breakfast and lunch. Now, how are the people going to eat? How are the kids going to eat? Well, my point is, I guess you should have thought about that before you left school to go tear up your town.
That's right. How about there's two jackasses I've seen on pictures, right? One of them is such an asshat. He is such a class clown. He is such a piece of crap human being that he's standing there in front of the photographer taking the picture. He's holding a CVS bag where he just ripped CVS off in his right hand, and then holding over his left hand, over his head, he's got his arm up holding a 16 count of toilet paper.
Well,
and he's posing like the freaking Statue of Liberty in front of the camera. He's posing with no mask on. He's got on like a white shirt, some jean shorts. I guess they almost look like capris the way that they're wearing their shorts. But it's just hilarious. Like, get a picture of this right here, y'all.
Well, they're saying
I got me some Scott toilet paper, 16 counts.
They're saying,
and I didn't even have my CVS card. I saved money.
They're saying
you keep
that
interrupting me. I'm gonna smack
sorry.
you.
But they're saying that if the people are posting pictures to social media of them doing stuff like that, that they're going to go back and track it. And if they see any pictures of you,
of course, you're holding the evidence. Duh.
That they're going to
the second guy's like walking like from the right hand side of the picture. He's walking to the left hand side, and he's got like an arm full of stuff. He's just walking. They made a comment about a guy walking out with a TV from one of the stores last night.
I guess I bet he had to stop and take a selfie, though.
I just think it's hilarious. Yeah. Woohoo, look at me. I got it for free.
That's what I find
need to
is...
treat that area like World War Z. They need to go out there and start bagging and tagging. I
don't wish any harm on the children.
Yeah.
But they do need to go down there. They've got the paintball guns. They have tear gas and pepper spray type stuff.
Yeah.
It's anti-crowd devices, if they want to call it that. They can go down there and they can clean house. You start lighting them kids up with some damn paintballs, A, that's going to hurt like hell, but B, they're all full of pepper spray. You're going to see them things. They're going to flop around like fish out of water, like people getting stung by bees. But you're going to stop them. They're not going to stand there. The problem is the whole wussification of America. These kids have already seen it happen with Ferguson, and nobody did anything to stop it. So they're doing it again because, you know why? Because we all wear girly panties now. Some don't wear any at all.
Well, they said there was a tweet, a purge tweet that went out to all the high school age kids to go do this yesterday. And that's
they all figure too there's a different line on high school kids. When they're below 18, they can't treat them the same as an adult.
Yeah.
That's the catch. Here's the catch though. At 17, here's the problem. At 17, you are legally able to go to jail for committing a crime. At 18, you're 100% an adult, but the difference is this. At 17, if your kid goes out and commits a crime and they destroy property, the parents are responsible for said property. When they become 18, the parents are no longer responsible for any financial anything. The kid themselves is responsible. But the problem is at 17 years old and under, any of these kids going out destroying stuff, mommy and daddy's ultimately responsible for what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the other part that I was kind of doing this morning before the show, before I'm trying to be funny and pick and act stupid, where are the parents here? Hello, your kid did not come home.
Yeah.
So are you out looting with your children? A looting family stays together. So are y'all out at the pick and save? I mean, what are you doing?
And that's
where are the parents?
That's what they were asking.
White, black, Puerto Rican, green, aliens, Mars, Jupiter, penis, Venus. I don't care. Where's the parents? Has nothing to do with color.
You said Venus.
Yes, I did. Trying to make a joke.
I'm
trying to bust attention. The whole point is, where's the parents behind all this? At what point is mommy and daddy at home eating their friggin' popcorn and drinking their beer, watching the TV going, Hey, man, you see that riot going on down there?
Oh, that looks like Junior.
Is that Junior? His underwear's hanging out just like Junior's. He's even got JR on the back of his drawers. At what point does somebody go, my kids are not home and it's 11:30 at night? Oh, yeah, there's a freaking riot happening. Why are my kids not home? As soon as the riot got started, my kids should have been smart enough to get the hell out of there because my kid wouldn't want to be hung up in the middle of that. And at what point, and you know and I know, when it comes to all these dumbass kids acting like this, at what point, here's follow me while I say this. These kids are the same kids that just beat up on each other in school.
Yeah.
So at what point does one look at another and say, that's my TV? And they don't start fighting themselves.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how's this going to go if the Bloods and the Crips get together? Because haven't they always been
They hate each other.
And years of
but
rivalry?
What's the old saying? My enemy of my enemy is my friend.
But at what point are they going to turn on each other? And then it's going to be more of a mess.
Well, it depends. Is there money involved? But you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
They're both gonna be hating on Popo until one of them figures I can steal that cocaine or I can steal them guns or I can steal that money, and then they no more friendship.
It's just
Right.
It's just
They'll turn when they have a reason to turn.
Yeah. It's just fixing to get really crazy. And
I still say the same thing I said about Ferguson. The second that the police can't do something because they have their hands tied, martial law.
yeah.
As soon as the cops go, well, we can't do anything because the media is going to this and the media is going to do that, then what they do is martial law should come in. Martial law should tell everybody with a camera, sure, you can take pictures behind that line. Martial law goes into effect and we're wiping the streets. That's what should happen.
Yeah.
These guys go in there with Kevlar, and even if they're shooting bean bags out of them 12-gauge shotguns, you hit a couple people in the chest with a bean bag, they'll lay down.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you're 15 or 18. If you're throwing rocks and glass, you need to be put down.
Yep.
If you're stupid enough to make that decision that you're going to go out there and perform violence, then you shouldn't be mad if violence is performed back at you in return.
That's true.
Amen.
Because what about the citizens? What about the normal
Exactly.
people that are the normal people who can't leave their house right now or at least go to wherever this is, you know? And if you live in that area, what are you doing? You're sitting at your house hoping that nobody decides to kick in your front door.
Yeah, you're probably sitting there with a gun in your lap if you have one, or at least if I was up there, I would.
It's just crazy.
Because-
Thank God, Conyers, we don't have any of these problems.
Well, you know,
That's not to say we're any better than anybody else. I'm just saying, as of right now, we don't have these problems.
Right.
a couple of months back, the Anthony Hill was shot and killed here in DeKalb County.
That's not
And-
here.
Well, it's DeKalb County, but did you hear any of this stuff going on in
No.
DeKalb County?
No.
And here in the South, everything when it comes to rioting like that, like Ferguson, that's up north. Baltimore's up north. So what's up with these Northerners? Them damn Yankees?
That's right.
No, damn Yankees are down here. The real Yankees are up there.
No, them and damn Yankees.
No, the damn ones moved down here.
I know the saying, but I'm just saying them damned old Yankees
wife-
because I know
My wife's
Chris
a
is
damn
listening. Well, I know Chris. Did he send me a message?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
He will.
Oh, yeah.
I just
know
hate
he
it.
will.
I hate it that it's happening because the media is not helping.
No,
They're not hurting, but they're not helping. I mean, we've got volcanoes erupting around the planet. We've got, one person I know that keeps up with all the world stuff, the National Geographic type things that you would see, brought up the fact that the one volcano has gone off. They're having some others like Yellowstone's acting stupid.
Uh-oh.
They're saying the one in Hawaii's kind of acting stupid. So if all this is happening inside our own planet where these volcanoes are all starting to act stupid and the media is watching a bunch of jackasses throw rocks,
Mm-hmm.
hello,
That's right.
that is one town of pure stupid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't give them 1 second because they've already said that if Yellowstone goes off it will destroy everything within 100 miles. That is not 100 miles one direction. That's 100 miles every
Everywhere.
direction.
Yeah.
And we are worried about a bunch of jackasses throwing rocks. I say, martial law, you go in there with some Humvees, a bunch of assault rifles, clean house.
Yep.
If one of them pull a gun and aims it, if he aims a gun at the martial law people, if he aims at a cop or anybody, an MP, whatever, if he is a threat, put him down. No different than a pissed off pit bull. Take him down. Human life only has a value if they see it as a value. But these people that are out there with the destruction and acting stupid, they're not treating any human life with value. They're burning it down. They're acting crazy. And, of course, everybody can go, well, you know, he's white. He only sees it his way. No, I only see it one way, and that's the law. The law is the law. If you feel that something didn't go your way, go scream and raise hell about it. Use your voice. But
Protest.
destruction's not fixing anything.
There's,
And then who has to pay for all the cleanup? The economy, the insurance people. Come on, man.
and there's a big difference between protests and riots. There's a big difference.
Well, how is it that like 10 years ago, we used to laugh at all the crazy stuff when you would see Israel and all these other places with these like crazy protests and people on the street, tear gas everywhere. We used to laugh at them, and now we've become them.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I hate to cut you short on
No, man.
but I got to run. I got a truck driver walking up.
All right, man. See you later.
All right, see you.
Bye bye. All right, y'all. We're gonna shoot off to commercial anyways. It's time to.
Yeah.
I'm just tripping out, man. Just tripping out. There's no reason for it. It's just no reason for all this.
No, there's not at all. Because even the family of the guy that died, they were requesting, especially because yesterday was his funeral, no violence to be done.
Right.
So they're not, all these people out there doing it, thinking that they're going to get justice for this man.
Well, how are you getting justice by destroying everything?
Exactly. And you're not honoring him.
You know what? The whole point is, or the whole crazy is all the secondary stuff. Hold on one second. All the secondary stuff that's happening is going to blur the first problem.
Yeah.
Nobody's even going to remember the first problem. They're going to be too busy dealing with this. Go
Yeah.
ahead, caller.
What's happening?
What's happening with you, man?
Oh, I'm just watching all the craziness like everybody else.
Man, it just sucks that I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. Do you report it to let the world know, or are you feeding into it? You know, because it seems like the more you feed into it, the crazier these people want to be because they're doing it for attention.
Well, let's take, I try to be very objective to everything that I watch and I see. I try to, give my little 10 seconds and take a deep breath and think about opposite or alternative viewpoints, etc. And what we've got here is it's situational, but let's take a look at the mayor of Baltimore first. She's not only the mayor of Baltimore, but she's also the secretary of the Democratic Party. So we have to look at this, and I think it all goes back. It's into it falls into inept black leadership. It's a socioeconomic challenge, of course, but I don't fully understand it. I understand that we have some diversity, and I've had people tell me, "Well, you don't know what it's like to be black." Well, you know what? I don't know what it's like to be black, but I do know that I've been in a position where they choose between putting gas in my truck to go to work or buy medicine I need to stay well so I could work.
Right.
I know what it's like to make a choice to either feed my kids or try to keep the house warm for them in the wintertime. So, don't give me that you don't know what it's like to be black shit.
Well, the thing that
Yeah.
trips me out is I always hear I don't know what it's like to be black, but I've also in return been able to say, Well, you don't know what it's like to be accused of every problem that you've had.
That's true.
Right.
So, you know, I can't tell you how many times somebody said, well, my grandparents were slaves. Well, that's not my fault. I'm sorry.
So we're
Oh yeah, that just irks me to death.
That's
when I
right.
hear that one.
And if you want to sit down and look at your family tree, you might can say that your grandparents might have been slaves, but your grandparents were not slaves. We've already had that argument with somebody that tried to say that to me before. And I said, let's sit down with a piece of paper. Let's write out how old you are. Let's write out how old your mama is. And let's write out your grandma's age. And you prove to me that your grandma was a slave. Because I got a grandfather right now that's approaching his 90s, and that's a World War II vet. Now, there wasn't slavery in World War II. I'm sorry. I don't know what timeline, you know, some of these people live on, but aren't we past all that?
If we look back, you know, over time, and, you know, one thing is the government's definitely in the wrong with this. I believe that there are powers that be that perpetuate the continuation of all this bullshit. I really do. But to think, well, let's look at it this way. You hear, you don't understand. You don't understand our point of view. Where's the compassion or the empathy or the sympathy for the quote unquote black situation or whatever? I'll tell you where it's at. It stands with the white guy in a police uniform that didn't shoot your black ass when you hit him with a brick. That's where the compassion's at.
Ooh, we're a little high on them words today. Keep it clean.
So, you know,
the problem is not putting black in it or putting white in it. If a person throws a brick at a cop,
that's exactly right.
What's going to happen? And as the news reporter said yesterday to the woman who kept trying to say what her point was, but she never actually got a point out of her mouth, he was saying that most of the police department, the percentage is higher of it being minorities than it being white. So you can't blame it on the white guy. And that's what they were trying to ask her. How are you blaming it on the white guy when most of the police officers here are minorities? Because the woman was almost, you know, making it out like it was the same as Ferguson, but you can't compare apples to oranges.
A lot of the tape that I seen, there were several black police officers standing in the zones or creating the safe zones. In our earlier videos, you didn't see too many white people out there pillaging and participating in the quote unquote riot and looting, but now of course you do.
Well,
you know, they're out there also. And then to touch base real fast on your martial law, you're one step into it already. Activation of the National Guard. People have a misconception of what the National Guard is. It's not the state guard. Come on, guys. It's not the state guard, even though it's a state militia. It's a national endorsed, national sponsored force and a national entity, sponsored entity within the state boundary.
And their rules are totally different than the police rules.
Oh, the rules of engagement are completely different.
Completely different.
And you're going to see once that National Guard is on the scene that you're one step into the martial law already. And if you don't think, look at all the comments from the polls that different people have taken, or some of the generals have asked their constituents over time. The big one here that's gotten a lot of press was, would you fire upon your fellow American? And that was going, you know, with the picking up of the guns and that kind of stuff. They were astounded to see yes. And if you don't think that it would actually ever happen, let's look at some history. Look back into the early days of the 40s when the guys come back from war and were promised bonuses from the Senate. The veterans that were having a hard time, especially when the Depression hit, and they all rallied on Washington. They brought the troops in and fired on them.
Well, and
So,
you can't predict when the heat of the moment's happening. You can't predict what's possible and what's not possible. That's the other problem too, is when you start getting into this situation. The problem is when you start making any decisions based on emotion. So, I think one of the coolest pictures, and it's hard, it's probably horrible for me to call it the coolest picture ever, but one of the coolest pictures that I've seen from Baltimore right now is the way the camera angle is the photographer did a great job when he did this picture. But there's several police officers in their riot gear, the plastic shields, down in their over their face, but yet you can see their faces, and you see it's not white cops. It's all kind of colors in the cops. And the one black guy with the mask on where you don't see his face is in his face, and it's almost like the cops were wax figures. And these guys are leaning into their face, just screaming, and they've not done anything. Now, and I know if that was Israel or Iran, that poor United States citizen would have had the hell beat out of him.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just tuning in, DJ Scotty.
Well, they wouldn't have been. They wouldn't. This would have been nipped in the bud long before they got an opportunity to congregate like that anywhere else.
Right. Well, let me shoot out the commercial real quick, Craig. And Oz just got here. We'll be right back, and we'll do some more about this. Hopefully, won't go too far into it because I want to keep the spirits up. But holla back if anything else comes up.
I'm ready to hear Oz's comments on it.
Okay, sounds good, brother. We'll see you soon.
All right,
bye.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna shoot off the commercial because I know we went over our 30 mark. We just got engaged really hard on this, so we'll be right back, everybody. It's just fun in the morning. Listen, I'm gonna play a couple of seconds of Korn Coming Undone. And then I'm going to go over to POD. POD, people don't realize they are a Christian band, but it's called Youth of the Nation. You should listen to the words of this song, Youth of the Nation. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What happened to you yesterday?
I don't know. What?
I sent you a text. I said I got some great news.
Oh, I do.
I'm waiting on you. I said, Scotty.
I'm getting ready to go to vacation tonight.
Last night,
trying to get everything ready.
Michael Myers called me and said, he was screaming. He said, I need the Just for Fun logo.
Oh, my God.
They put it all over the T-shirt. It's all over the T-shirt.
I just saw it a minute ago.
And he says, I said, you got it. I said, well, I hit Scotty up and I said, something must be going on. I said, because he didn't even call me back.
But it's just been crazy,
so,
dude.
I just you won't be there Sunday.
Huh?
You won't be there Sunday to the fish fry.
No. I'll be coming home Sunday.
Oh my God. All right. We gotta have music.
Not want to be there.
Oh.
I don't know about getting music though.
Oh Lord. I gotta work fast then. I gotta get music. We gotta have old school music at this fish fry.
Everybody that knows how to run it,
I got all this set up with. I really took you to a different level with the sheriff's office, and we'll talk about that.
When that's all over.
You should have seen a difference this week, and we'll talk more. Yeah, we'll talk more. You are set for the 17th though, for the basketball.
Yes.
For the teacher. Okay. I said no. He called. He says I need y'all's logo. I said, well, it's online. I said,
yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, he got you covered.
Reach out to me.
Okay.
If you
okay. All right. Okay.
It's been crazy.
Yeah. Well, I know it's been crazy for me too. There's a gazillion and one thing going on.
Taking the bus out of town.
Coach Marcus is here.
What's going on, brother?
But yeah, if you ever can't get him, because I have the logos.
And you need to give you and Coach need to get exchange numbers too, Stephanie.
Okay.
Because what he's going to do, one of the things we were talking about, he can help promote and get Just for Fun Radio out to other folks. I mean, we got a base, but there's a lot of folks still that don't even know we exist.
Right.
And through his media outlet, through SIB and a network, it can take us even farther.
Cool.
Especially when I say farther, I'm talking about more coverage in Rockdale, Newton, but he's going to cover Metro Atlanta with what his stuff does. You know what I mean? So we need to get him, Scotty, what I was saying to Stephen about getting Coach Marcus involved. You got a base. We've got a base, Covington, Conyers, Porterdale, but SIB and Network can take us to more people in Rockdale that don't know Just for Fun exists in Metro Atlanta. And I want you guys to really be, this is what I'm calling an Oz connection now. So hear me. I want you guys to do more networking together.
It's really to
But
be honest.
he's been crazy busy.
Yeah, man.
We all are, but
I'm happy.
we gotta stroke each other so we all can get out of this stuff what we need out of it.
And I've been Steph's been doing a lot more, and Mike was, but then Mike went on his little summer hiatus right now, and that's kind of slowed me down a little bit because I still got to keep moving forward.
Man, I was hoping. So you don't have anybody. None of your people won't be there Sunday then.
Nobody knows how to run nothing.
God almighty, no.
Nobody knows how to run anything of either.
Mm.
The only other,
I just didn't want. This is a hometown fish fry.
Oh, dude,
me and the sheriff have teamed up.
I saw it.
I literally wanted to have the Just for Fun bus parked out there.
But y'all are talking about doing it at 6.
6 in the evening.
And I'm leaving Sunday morning. I just don't know how quick I'm going to be back.
You ain't going to be back. Yeah, don't even put that on yourself. You deserve this break.
You know, 5 hours.
And you don't have anybody on your crew trustworthy or responsible enough
to none of them know the equipment.
They don't know the equipment. Gosh, see, that would be beautiful down the road for you and this guy because y'all got the same understanding of equipment. Coach, you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That if
what
y'all,
kind of equipment you run?
I mean, I've got those new speakers that
to do the live DJ, mobile DJ setup out there.
I mean, I've done DJ. I just don't know how to spin. You know, you got different ways you can spin. You got the 2 CDs.
Computerized, right?
Yeah, all my stuff.
You're not doing.
But my problem is this one is what I DJ from.
Oh, okay.
But she definitely doesn't know how to do it, and right now it's running the station as well until I get back and change over to the Mac.
So that's out.
That's
out. That's out. Because that's something we can't even. Hear. Well, with you out. Yeah. That's something we can't even trust in nobody else's hand. That's nothing to do with because just like his stuff, he ain't giving his stuff to me because
I might can get back to show up, but I don't think I'd be able to get back in enough time.
Do you know of someone that would be interested in doing the music?
Not that's the problem.
Okay.
That, as silly as that is, man,
well, I may be able to get some. I may be able to get some funding. We got to talk about this off air. Yeah. We got to talk about this off air because I know right now we're still streaming. So
yeah, because if it was something as simple as taking the phone app and plugging it in.
But now that's my thought though. That's exactly.
I can do that.
That was my thought though with those other speakers I got.
Well, see, the whole spin on this thing is old school music.
Yeah.
So it's got to be way to control that. Right. It won't be no way to control it with the app. We got to have that old school music. Okay, I'll get to working. I'll get to working on it, and we'll see what we can come up with. Now, I know I heard you say you talked a good bit this morning about this Baltimore thing, but I want to talk about it from a political standpoint, and from a town leadership, and from a law enforcement standpoint.
Yeah, I was going to say, and be sure about the law.
Right. I want to talk from both of those angles because I this thing has really grabbed my heart. I watched it all night last night.
I mean, it's a horrible.
It's a sad situation.
And it's kids.
It's kids. And my thing is, why is this kind of chaos and calamity spreading every time there's a situation? Anyway, we're going to be on there.
That's why I question. That's why I question: is the media helping or hurting? Because the fact is, everybody knows so far when all that crap happened in Ferguson, nobody really went to jail. So now these kids, they all know they're juveniles. They all know they can get away with it, and they don't pay the repercussion like an adult. So do they not fear? Do they not fear the going to jail? Do they not fear the control? What is it? And that's the bad thing is there's nothing good coming from this.
Yeah, but there was two black individuals that was killed here in Georgia. None of this happened like that.
We're not going to tear up our place. It just makes no sense to do that.
That's my point. It's like, come on, don't we have
and the one
enough?
And I'm yeah. And it's just crazy. But the one death that I really felt there was no need for was the Anthony Hill of DeKalb County, one where he was naked.
Oh yeah. What's the that was just.
It was uncalled for.
What's the outcome of that?
It's still under investigation.
They're gonna drag that out. and a lot of times they drag stuff out to
cover stuff up
or to take your mind away, because when something like what happened in the last couple nights, now that situation you just mentioned is not hardly on anybody's mind.
Yeah,
well, that's
you don't
what I'm
see
saying.
it
Look
anywhere.
at the volcano situation that's happening, and we're so focused on what's happening.
Yeah, I don't even know what
this town that the volcano thing.
The volcano,
is not even
Nepal.
A discussion.
You mean in? Wait a minute.
Yeah, where are you talking about?
The volcano. You talking about the volcano in Nepal?
Yeah, but there's several volcanoes.
Was that a volcano?
I thought that was an earthquake.
Well, there's a volcano that's been acting up. Yeah, and the problem is now.
Oh.
All right, we're going back, y'all. So yes, there's a volcano that has been erupting over the last couple days, and then an earthquake's happened. But they're also saying that there's some stuff that's happening in Hawaii, Yellowstone, their volcano's acting up. That's right here in the United States as well. Not counting, you still got like a volcano that, if I'm correct, that's up in Alaska that's not done anything in all these years. But they're saying all these weird things are happening, but yet you're not hearing about it hardly. You're hearing all about Baltimore, but you're not hearing anything about what could actually destroy the whole planet. So, you know, and the thing, and for everybody, we've got Coach Marcus in the house. We got Oz because it's Tuesday,
Town Topic Tuesday.
Town Topic Tuesday. Listen, I really appreciate what DJ Scotty said a moment ago when he was going to commercial break. One of the things we have to do is remain optimistic and remain hopeful about what's happening positive in our communities, in our backyard. Yes. It's a tragedy. It's unfortunate what's happening over in Baltimore. I prayed last night. I'm praying this morning, praying throughout the day. And I'm encouraging all of the folks who are listening and watching and paying attention to this situation to be praying for the people in the city of Baltimore. Now, I don't want to take up a Monday morning quarterback seat by being a pundit about what the shoulda, coulda, and wouldas about what's going on out there. Again, it's an unfortunate situation. It does not, let me make sure I say this. It does not speak for all of the people in the city of Baltimore.
Right.
Not one of us need to get caught up thinking that what is going on is representative of all of the folks that live in the city of Baltimore, because it's not. Even some of the people that interviewed on the television last night talked about, wait a minute, this hits home.
Yes.
My business was impacted. One of the first things that came to my mind when I saw the CVS pharmacy on fire, this is what I thought about immediately. Think about all the work we've done with the local senior citizens in this community.
Yes.
I'm thinking about those folks who are on meds and medication every day, who rely and depend upon this local pharmacy to get their medication. Well, where are they going to get it from this morning?
Well, that's what we brought up. We brought up, what about the people? Let's look at it this way. Now you got this town. Think of a castle. So everything inside the castle is protected. Well, in this particular case, everything inside this area is not. Everything's violent. So the people that say work outside of this town aren't now coming to town. That means businesses aren't working. What about the poor people that are living on the side streets that have houses that are what? They're just sitting there waiting for the front door to get kicked in.
So not only have we shut and burned down the CVS pharmacy, what about the people who were gainfully employed, who relied on the CVS pharmacy to provide them a source of income, a paycheck? This morning, because of someone's ignorance and foolishness and emotional outrage, now there are several people who are out of employment, out of work. Yeah. So that's, I don't condone any.
Well, and then on the bigger scale, you've got CVS that's now taking a loss, and then people are going to wonder why some price increases might happen. You now have an insurance company that says, wait a minute, why are we paying for vandalism?
Well, now the community is certainly being deemed even more so of a high-risk area.
Yes.
And insurance prices, when you talk about economic development or trying to bring in businesses or bring in opportunities, who's going to want to bring it? Because every time there's a civil unrest, people are going to be uneasy. The stakes are just way too high. But okay, so that's a lot of the emotional side of it. Okay, and one thing we can't do is get caught up in the emotions.
Right. Like I said, anytime you make a decision based on emotions, you're making a bad decision.
So here's where I want to transition. Communication is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Had the leadership of the town immediately, as soon as possible, gotten out front of this thing and said,
Mm-hmm.
we recognize that there's a problem with the death of Freddie Gray. We're going to look into this thing, but we're going to keep you posted. We're going to communicate with you all the way through the process.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened in South Carolina. As soon as this thing went down, they got to say, wait a minute, we're going to deal with this and we're going to nip it in the bud. You have to communicate with people and keep them abreast, keep them informed, letting them know what you're doing, what steps are you doing. When you don't say anything to the community and they're trying to figure out on their own,
they make up their own thoughts then.
My grandmother says, when you allow things to fester, to linger, you need to go ahead and admit your mistakes up front, or to just announce whether it's a mistake or not, just announce what's going on. Keep people informed. The clergy, I would have gotten together with the local clergy right away. I would have gotten together with the local school system right away.
Yes.
Right away, immediately. Let's educate. Let's make sure we let everybody know. Let's be as open and transparent as we possibly can to let the community know here is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Here's what we're doing. Because now, look at the rebuilding factor, the cost of rebuilding.
Well, and how many months is this going to take? Are we talking a year?
No, it's going to take
what I mean?
years.
Because this is all self-destruction. This is people that are doing it for no real reason.
Stephanie, you can do your research while we're on the air here. This is not new to the city of Baltimore.
No,
you know, back in the 60s, they went through the same thing.
Yeah.
The late, great godfather of soul, James Brown, was dispatched by the president of the United States to go to Baltimore because he was having a concert, had already scheduled to have a concert in Baltimore. And they thought it might be a better idea to cancel the concert. James Brown said, no. Don't cancel the concert. Let the concert happen. Allow the folks to come. Allow folks to come to the concert hall. The concert will serve somewhat of a distraction. It was in the wake of Dr. King being killed.
Yes.
That's when it was. It was in the city of Baltimore. And the president got on the phone and got a hold of James Brown and said, listen, I need you. I need you here. Mm-hmm. He was able to get there. They packed the hall with these concert goers. He was able to communicate with this group of people, these young people. They had the concert. Even during the midst of the concert, there was some civil unrest, and the police was on hand. Mr. Brown said, wait a minute. He took to the microphone. He says, hold it. Represent yourself. Represent yourself. He says, I got the police in here. I told them that I can control this crowd. I can get you guys going in the right direction. He said, you're making me look bad. These are his actual words. He said, you're making me look bad. You can pull it up.
You know, why don't
right
we
there.
have a guy like that now?
Well,
I mean, who do we have famous that can stand up and speak and say, come on, y'all.
Here's what we
Other than
have.
some of the rappers.
Here's what we have, folks. There are so many people out there raring and daring for their 5 and 15 minutes of fame.
That's right.
They want to be the new Jesse Jackson or the new Al Sharpton, or they want to be the new President Carter. They want to be the new voice of reason, voice of concern, because they're concerned about their own fame and their own spotlight.
What can they get?
They get in the notoriety they can get, in the popularity they can get.
The money.
I can give a flying flip about fame and popularity. We're talking about a community. We're talking about a group of people. And that's why I wanted to start off this morning by saying, listen, let's not group the entire city of Baltimore with what's happening, because this does not represent the entire city of Baltimore.
Right, because think of how many people are trapped in their house right now, scared.
There's tons of people who wish like hell this would go away.
That's right.
They really do, and they're shaking their head. And those people are black, they're white, they're Asian, they're
Hispanic.
They're all colors.
They're human beings.
And they're saying, they're saying, take yourselves, I'm substituting my words. They're saying, take yourselves home, get off the street and leave it be. I'm going to say this.
Oh, that's.
I know. I'm fixing.
Go
Go,
go right ahead.
Mike
Stephanie.
Myers keeps calling in, and I didn't know that was him. But we're
Go
gonna
right
hit him
ahead,
back.
Stephanie.
I forgot what I was going to
Well,
say.
just to bring your thought back. So, there it is again. I spent 15 years in law enforcement, my hometown down in Augusta, Georgia.
Yes.
One of the things
I'm patching Mike Myers in too.
that's okay. Bring him on in. One of the things I realized is that whereas
calling Mount Vernon Village is Ronaldo. How may I help you?
Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of Michael Myers, please.
He's indisposed at the moment. May I take a message?
Well, just tell him to call Scotty back. He was trying to reach me.
Call who?
Scotty back. He's been trying to reach me, and I didn't answer the phone, so I was returning his call.
Okay, and do you have a number in which I can give him?
He's got it. He keeps dialing it right now, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye. I hate to bother people while they're at work. I feel bad for that.
No. But here's a reference I was going to make. In every occupation, in every walk of life, there's good,
Yes.
bad, and ugly.
Yes.
There's always going to be, there's always have been good cops, bad cops.
Always.
Always.
Good DJs, bad DJs.
Yep.
Good car salespeople, bad car salespeople. Good politicians, bad politicians.
Mm-hmm.
In every
There's always going to be good and evil
every
everywhere.
single walk of life. So when people want to beat up and bash the police, I'm not with that program. I'm not with that party, because there's great police officers out here and law enforcement people who work hard and they're doing their jobs, and I'm not going to get on the bandwagon of bashing them. I am going to say, for those people who wear the badge and disgrace this community and disgrace the service of law enforcement,
Yes.
then they need to be dealt with.
Yes.
And there are people in every community that's like that.
Everywhere. I mean, look, I've had one from Rockdale. I get treated great by every cop in Rockdale. And I had one come in my house over a situation with my stepdaughter, and he disrespected me. And people can say whatever they want, but I watched the guy act the way he did in my kitchen. And just because I like Eric, I did not go file a complaint against the guy. I probably need, because there's two sides to everything, I probably need to let them know this is the officer you got, because if he's going to do this to me, who else has he done it to? And if he's doing this to me, what else has he done to somebody else? So, but let me ask you a question. Mr. Myers, I know you're on here too. And this is just a white guy asking a simple question. I grew up on Glenwood. I was a minority where I grew up, but we didn't have these problems. And I'm talking in the 80s. In the 80s, we didn't have all this black-white tension. We were just people, man. We got along. I don't know what has transpired from then to now, because you would like to believe that we have educated ourselves more. So why is it that we're more prejudiced now?
One of the problems that we have, it starts with a letter S, S-E-X, sex. More folks are having babies in the past 20 years that are under 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under 15, and in some cases under 12. So when you have young parents, these young parents are coming of age now. They're coming up in their 20s, 30s, and late 30s. So the value system is not nowhere the same as it was 20, 30 years ago, actually, because they were actually babies and they were being raised by children. And so what we're seeing, Oz can confirm this, but I think what we're seeing personally is a young, immature adult, because you've talked about this 1,000 times on your program, young, immature adults who are listening to nothing but the radio. They're not listening to the news. They're not watching global events.
Right.
They may be in the system of going to school. They may be in the system of perhaps every now and then going to church, but they're not aware of the values that the world holds dear. Now, on the other side of that, y'all can confirm this, there's some masterminds of racists and all kinds of evil folks, because there's all kinds, race is just one of them, who says, well, hey, we know the patterns and the demographics of this area, and let's plan to build prisons, or let's plan to do this, and let's plan to do that. But it doesn't include the everyday folk who are out here shaking hands, don't even pay attention to color. It doesn't even include that. So you got an extreme. You got a group, Oz, who are immature. Now they're becoming of age, and they don't have the same value system. So it's like a crazy value system that they have, you know, that I can't even get into now, but Oz, you probably have dealt within law enforcement. And then you have the mastermind, the top 1% of whatever. It doesn't have to just be money, who says, you know what, since we know the demographics are going to be this in this county, let's profit off of that by doing this.
Well, there is a demographical shift in every community across America, and Rockdale County is not exempt from that. Let me just say this, DJ Scotty, you mentioned a moment ago about Sheriff Eric Levitt and the fact that he is on the ground, he's touchable, he's tangible in the community, he's someone that people can identify. One thing I do appreciate about the sheriff, he doesn't get caught up whether you call him Sheriff Levitt or call him Eric.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't go by a title.
The same thing with me. Here's the thing. We have to make sure in this community that we continue to be on the ground, in the faces of the community, talking to people, hearing from people, and getting the involvement from our folks. What Coach Marcus just kind of alluded to was the fact there is a generational shift.
And with that, I don't mean to interrupt, but as you said that, one of my DJ buddies, who's a club DJ, just said, as bad as I hate to say it, it goes back to the music. And that's a DJ telling you. I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. Go ahead.
No, but that's okay. I think there's many different ingredients that's created this nasty cake that people are eating. And one of them is the #1 subject in the world. The #1 subject in the world. I'm going to say it again. The #1 subject in the world is sex.
It's sex. Thank you.
In the most softest television or radio commercial, there is sex included in selling a candy bar.
Well, how about we were watching
included in selling toilet paper and
Pleasure.
toothpaste, or sex in shampoo, hair product, sex in selling a car.
Well, we were watching a kid show. I call it a kid show. It's about the Green Arrow. So it's a comic book character, right? The other night I looked at my wife. I said, wow, they're getting a little risque for a teen. I mean, it might not be a little kid show, but it would be a teen to older person show. And to me, we're supposed to be watching a superhero save the world and fight villains, and all of a sudden there's a sex scene.
And I don't want to hammer this and stay too long. I don't want to miss an opportunity. Let me say this. This is the reason why we've got to educate our young people about the political process and why it's so important that they, #1, become registered voters and become educated about the process and about the candidates. We're entering into a season now, coming up into campaign season with the 2016 elections, that you're going to have to know more about your candidate than just what's on the surface. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to find out who this person is so that you'll be able to make a real decision. And on the local level,
because if you want your house to be better, you need to take care of your house.
On the local level, I am just as much concerned about my neighbors not going into foreclosure. I'm just as much concerned about my neighbors being gainfully employed, just like I am. I'm just concerned about my neighbor's house not being burglarized because it could be my house next. These things, but so many people live in a selfish world where this is, it doesn't impact me. It doesn't have anything to do with my child. Well, let me just tell you. I pray for all 4 of my kids all day, every day. My oldest son is 27 years old. When I think about the young Freddie Gray, it's sad. That's a sinful. Hopefully they'll get us the answer. And they need to get it to us real quick to bring some calm and ease to this community up there, which is what I was talking about a little while ago about giving communication as quickly. The quicker response.
Communication breakdown.
It's a communication breakdown. You gotta get the people the information, and you have to be transparent. Rockdale County is a wonderful place to live, work, and play. I appreciate the support of our local sheriff's department, police chief there in the city of Conyers. I'm not going to embrace what's happening there and make it happen here, because guess what? It's not happening here. I'm not going to overlook it because I realize at any given moment, anything can happen anywhere.
Yes.
But I think it's important that when local politicians or public servants have their finger on the pulse of the people, how do you do that? Being in tune, being in touch with the folk. Every time we talk about having these forums or panels about how to do things with young people, you know the most disturbing thing about that, Coach Marcus? Stephanie, Scotty, is the fact that every time I see these panels about how to engage the young people,
no young people on
there's
it.
no
there's
young
none,
people on the panel.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yes.
saying, wait a minute. Even as I transition, I stay in touch with what's going on, but I'm getting older.
Mhm.
So I poll my children. I ask Stacy all the time. I said, Stacy, what do you guys like? Tell me what irritates you. What is it that you got? I want to know how they're thinking. We can't compare it, Scotty,
Oh, I
to
understand.
the 80s when we grew up.
We
I
wish
just-
we could go back.
That's
though.
why I just
It's-
say
it-
what's
it-
changed. That's why I asked, because we didn't have
a
race.
whole hell of a lot has
I
changed.
mean, it was bad.
But you know what I'm
listen,
saying. But it wasn't like
Parents are different.
that's the thing.
Oh, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Preachers are preaching differently.
Yes.
Teachers are teaching differently. Schools are operated differently. Law enforcement is set up
Employment
differently.
is different.
Now
It just bothers me that we've gone backwards. That bothers me.
Well. Listen. This is a question I got for DJ Scotty and Commissioner. What do we do with a pleasure-driven generation?
Well, and now
That
everything's
only
got to be now,
Right, and that only reacts to a problem rather than responds
right.
to one.
and nobody sees
Mhm.
tomorrow. Everybody's right this second. Instant gratification, which goes to the sex, which goes to the money, which
Yeah.
goes to the drugs, which
Yeah.
everything is I got to have it now. Not I'm going to work for it. And I'm
Right.
I'm actually laughing in my head over here. Jacob, I'm 44. Jacob's in his 30s, and Jacob just says, I can't stand how everything revolves around sex appeal, and he's basically saying that as he's getting older, he's noticed it more, and now it bothers him. So I mean, it just
And
It
my
is
point-
that way.
My point is this, and I wish you guys could help me understand, is that while we're sitting here talking about this situation in Baltimore, we just finished talking about another situation, that's been happening like all over.
Yes.
We still have these young people in need of much guidance, evolving into adults.
They need
It can only
education.
get exactly.
They need education.
Thank
they need
you.
employment. They need guidance.
Say that again.
They need education. They need employment. They need guidance. This is not a time for the local leaders, state leaders, and the national leaders in the Baltimore area to sit back and just be having
Passive.
talks and
Yeah.
being passive about how to do this. We need an aggressive and
Thank you.
assertive action that's
Thank
going to bring resolve to these people and bring it to them immediately. Let's figure out, Mr. President, let's figure out how we're
Thank
going to
you.
get these people back to work.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Miss Mayor,
How we
let's
gonna
figure out
educate?
how we're going to get people educated back to work, and let's find those people in the community who are interested in progressively moving the city of Baltimore forward. Those are the people that I'm interested in. And let's empower our law enforcement for those thugs and those individuals who want to tear up our damn cities. Let's empower our local law enforcement to do what they need to do to place them under arrest. And I don't believe it's everybody. I only believe there's a small, perhaps 2% of the population that's out there doing. Why aren't those people at home getting ready to go to work? Why
Yeah.
weren't they at work?
Well, that was my question
It's
y'all
crazy.
missed earlier. If all these teens, I make a joke out of it, but when the parents are at home watching this on TV going, hey, Lucille, look, they're tearing our city up. Where's Junior? Did nobody wonder
Well-
where their kids were?
Well, what happened was there was a credible threat that was released to the police sometime yesterday, early afternoon, right before or after the funeral. And then what happened is the schools then shut down due to the credible threat that was also now disseminated to the school system. So the kids, in my view, I could be wrong about this, were let out.
So the gates just opened.
They were let out. Public transportation, which is how they get home. They don't use school buses from what I heard. That was shut down. So now you have all of these
They're
kids
just trapped.
in the street and they saw the police presence. Now, some reports said that they were going to march, but they were already in school. But every report you look at, it's a bunch of teenagers. It's not, you didn't see any young adults per se until a little bit later on in the evening. But I think it goes back to what Oz says. Number one, we already know about the problems that we had, the cultural problems, but the communication is no excuse for that.
Right.
There's no excuse for not
With
being
technology
ready to
being
respond.
the way it is today,
Exactly.
there's no reason
That's
why
right.
there
That could have
shouldn't
been
be
solved.
a major mass of communication, keeping people on point in terms of what happened. I got to get out of here. Let me read this to you real quick. A comfort zone is a dangerous place to be. It's filled with false hope, denial, broken promises, and irresponsibility. Check your address, your current situation, your environment. If you're in a comfort zone of any kind, I don't care where you are in life, if it's with your employment, if it's with your marriage, if it's with a relationship, if it's with the place you live, if it's with your education or you apply for education or you apply for employment. If you're in a comfort zone, get out of it. Kick the door in like the SWAT team, baby. Make a bold move, make a bold decision, make a bold statement, and move forward. We've got to continue to pray for the people of Baltimore, the leadership up there. We got to pray for every single citizen. And regardless of whether you live in the city of Baltimore, you live in Conyers or Rockdale County or any of the surrounding areas that's listening in and tuned in to Just for Fun Radio this morning, take nothing for granted. Be careful as you point the finger and point blame. Be careful at how you judge people. We are not there. We're safe. There's no smoke around us. There's no team of policemen around us. We're fine. We're employed. We're okay. So it's hard. It's difficult to understand exactly what's happening there because we're not there. And since I'm not there, the best thing I can do is pray for the people of the city of Baltimore. And I'm encouraging everybody that I'm praying for the law enforcement, the public safety, the fire team, the firefighters and rescue. I'm praying for the mayor's office, the governor's office. I'm praying at some point because I see that the president has allowing the local leaders and the state leaders to do their job. This is not a situation for him to get involved on this local level at this point, at this time. When he makes a decision to address these things, he's not just addressing the city of Baltimore. He's addressing the United States.
Yeah, the whole nation.
As we can see, there's been breakouts all over the place.
All over.
Folks, I'm just, this reminds me as why I'm so happy and proud to serve the good people of Rockdale County. And why we have people like DJ Scotty, Stephanie, Coach Marcus, Mike Myers, and so many people who have come together to do what we need to do. Thank you so much, Coach. We are having, that's right, Sheriff Levitt and I have teamed up. And here's the whole thing about being tangible and touchable and in tune with the community. This Sunday evening, May 3rd, 6 p.m. in the evening, over at the Pavilion in Old Town Conyers, 949 South Main Street, Old Town Conyers, at the Pavilion, free to the community. We're having a community fish fry, an old school fish fry, complete with old school music that your mama grew up on, that your daddy that we grew up listening to.
Everybody grew up.
You know what I mean? And we've got tons of fish and all the fixings and the trimmings. We're asking folks to come out, meet and greet with Sheriff Levitt, Commissioner Nesbitt, myself. This is not a political event. This is just a community event. We won't be campaigning. We'll simply be shaking hands, meeting folks. You get a chance to ask the sheriff a question that you wanted to ask. You get a chance to ask the commissioner a question that you otherwise you don't get a chance to meet these people and see them on a day-to-day basis. This Sunday, 6 p.m. It's a family affair. Absolutely. This is for the whole family to come out. Bring the family, lots of fish, lots of fun. We're going to feed everybody fish until the fish run out, baby. Thank y'all so much. I got to get out of here. We got it's Town Topic Tuesday. I'm Commissioner Alex Nesbitt. Thank you. We appreciate you tuning in right here to Just for Fun Radio.
Yes, sir. And everybody, don't go anywhere. We are coming right back. I didn't get to take a lot of the phone calls. I do apologize. When we come back from a commercial, feel free to call in. We can talk about all this. He only had just a few minutes. You still there, Mr. Myers?
I am.
All right. Yeah, give us a few minutes. Let's go to a commercial and then call me back. Let's get some of your input.
Okay. I'm going to listen to some of these other people talk because I talk so much, but I'm going to listen to some of these other people talk too.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
All right, bye. All right, everybody. Let's shoot off the commercial. I know we went a little over, and it happens sometimes. We'll be right back.
He called you out.
I know. It's all good. It's all good. That hearing is going to hang around.
Just holler at me later on.
I will.
And if you want, you can move to that seat if you want. And then I was going to say, you can clap your tripod down and put it on the table if you want.
I sure will. And we'll be there. We'll see you Sunday.
I'm going to hang out with you guys.
Cool.
I came all the way from the airport. I said, I'm going to hang out with you guys. Get on this work stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to get ready to go out of town, so we're going to Panama City Beach for Bike Week. So we've just really this week has just been getting ready and. Oh yeah,
I wish I could go with you.
I've never taken my wife to a Bike Week, so this will be a first for her.
Well, this is the first vacation that y'all gone on together.
Yeah,
kind of your honeymoon also. It's a year later honeymoon.
Yeah, I haven't taken my vacation.
This is the first time I'm trusting the station out of 5 years where I can leave. I'm gonna let her do it.
Yes.
Well, you want me to come? You want me to come? Okay. I've got to out.
Oh, that'd be great. Because it's tomorrow, and I mean, I have 2 guys coming tomorrow to help me, and Andrew's supposed to be coming back Thursday. Okay. Okay.
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I do black card transportation. My office is
Oh yeah, if you want to come in or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm gonna give you my contact again. I'll let you know my schedule as you text me. You can give me time. I'll tell you if you're available, whatever like that. Now Thursday, I'm always in contact.
Well, Thursday would be great then.
Thursday, I'm in contact.
Yeah, because Joey may or may not be able to come, so that'd be perfect to be prepared.
Yeah,
He's
and I've
working
already got tomorrow pretty much
Okay,
covered,
you got
and so Thursday, yeah, Thursday would be wonderful.
Man, we were getting lit up, but I did not want to interrupt Oz
Mm-mm.
to try to.
And so Mike lives
So we
here.
got a 2376.
My number is 678.
And just put it in as Coach Marcus. Okay.
Like I said, I'll text me if the radio together. That'd be more.
Okay.
Mm.
I really appreciate it. And since you
Thursday
do all
night, I'm
the,
leaving town, going to Charlotte, but Thursday morning after I do my airport runs, maybe I can come. You know what I mean? So Thursday morning, afternoon, I may be available.
and you can probably help us figure out how to get the media passes.
Yeah, people probably think that. And quite honestly, I remember seeing Oz's text yesterday. Man, it sucks. I just didn't. Well, he sent these, and it was pictures, so I didn't read anything. I just thought he was sending me more flyers at the end.
I just got the one about the fish fry. I didn't get anything else.
I was just so busy. Like I still was putting the rest of the parts on the bike.
Oh, you're riding your bike down there?
I was, but I blew my knee and my ankle out a little bit, and sprained
Yeah.
both of them really bad.
Okay.
So we're taking the bus, but like today, I got to get the bus to go get tail lights put on it, and then I got to wash it,
You
clean it out.
still haven't done that?
Started to yesterday, and then they got behind over at Rob's, so we're taking it there right after. But then I got to get dog food and get back here and put stuff in packing.
You got to tell me the schedule of the dogs, the food. You feed them once in the morning and once at night.
Just once a day.
They get
So you
once
guys
a day.
run all night, or what's the hours?
But the radio station runs 24 hours a day, and then we do a morning show Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
Because I can come late evening if
Well, Joey's doing a radio show Thursday night.
Is
So,
he gonna do one
well,
Thursday?
I'm hoping if he doesn't have to work, I mean, Marcus could come sit in. They could really talk about music.
Well, Justin's supposed to be here this
Right.
Thursday, so yeah,
So we'll see what happens.
yeah. And I just need to
Right.
after the
Back.
show find out
15 seconds.
from you what's going on.
Well, the biggest thing is if Joey's got to work. That's the biggest question.
the Joy's the guy with the beard.
And he works for a company that sets up events. So, like at any given moment, he'll get a call and he has to go to Atlanta.
That's me.
All right, everybody, we are back. And anybody that was calling, like I said, I did not want to totally just stop Oz when I knew he was on a time frame. He was supposed to leave at 8:46 at the latest. I mean, like, he even had it down to 46 instead of 45. He was trying to give us every minute he could. You know, anybody that would like to call in, I do want to try to keep, you know, I know we're discussing a negative topic, but I don't want to go negative with it. Let's see what we can do to try to answer questions and discuss it and give everybody a point of view. because the thing I always try to enforce with any of this is we always have to remember perspectives.
Yeah.
Everybody's perspective is going to be different, because let's look at it this way. Say there's a Chinese restaurant in that town. Those Chinese fellas have nothing to do with what's happening, but yet they're having to worry about their business.
Right. And their
a soul food kitchen. You know, what if they're saying the same thing? I don't have anything to do with this. Why am I having to protect my business?
Yeah.
Then what if there's a Jewish restaurant or a Jewish business? They're having to say, man, I have nothing to do with this, but yet they now have to fear what's going on from their perspective, not counting the people in their homes that are saying, I should not have to fear this. Just Fun Radio.
Good Twisted Tuesday morning to you.
What's happening, sir?
Not much. I was trying to call you while I was driving in, so I knew I had some time, but I just pulled up at work.
Okay.
Gonna make it real quick.
Okay.
You said, talking about the topic, and you want to kind of keep it on the positive side. Bree and I sitting at home the other night saw, I can't remember what channel, I think it was the ID channel, special about a detective in Pittsburgh who also teaches boxing to the local kids. Just so he's very community committed. And it was like a 13 and a 8-year-old boy that he was kind of mentoring.
Right.
And they used to come in all the time. And then he realized all of a sudden one day, hey, they haven't been in for a while. So he goes out, does his job as a detective, tracking them down, finally found the oldest boy and found out that they had been bouncing around from foster home to foster home. And the last one that they were in, the foster parents were abusing both kids. So he ended up pulling strings to the courts and everything, and ended up getting them to stay with him and being being the boy's foster parent.
Wow.
And then turned around right after that, went back to the court and actually adopted the 2 boys.
And that's kind of cool, because you always wonder that sort of stuff.
You always hear about all the bad cops and everything, and
Never
I mean, this guy, he was a self-declared bachelor. He said he would never get married, didn't want kids and all that. And to turn around, uproot his entire life, the entire way he's always lived and what he believed in, to take care of these 2 boys that he really didn't have to.
And that's pretty awesome.
So it is. I mean,
and that's good that you were able to see that on television, because that's another thing I pick on, because
the media,
we exercise this, let's show all this horrible stuff, but you never hear about the kid that won the spelling bee anymore. You never hear about the cops that, you know, helped save something, or firemen who helped save something. You keep hearing the bad, but you never hear anything good anymore. And then I made a statement yesterday that and it's just a statement and it's just an opinion, but there's claims that this whole thing that's happening in Baltimore is due to an abusive cop. That's the claim, that supposedly there was an abusive cop. But then I go back to saying the statement, with all the stupid stuff that's been aired about cops lately, why would any cop do something stupid right now? There's way too much heat.
Stupid.
Well, there's too much heat watching you. Why would you do it? Clean your act up and be a good cop. Be a good person. Don't be and this is not just speaking to cops. There's way too much heat on everybody. You can't fart and a cell phone not catch you doing it. You can't walk through Walmart anymore, people, wearing crappy clothes because somebody's going to take a picture of you. You can't pick your nose at a red light. Somebody's going to take a picture of you. You can't do these things anymore because there's way too much public media. Why do people do stupid stuff? It's always going to be seen.
I believe it was California.
Go ahead, Jeff. He's fixing that. Go ahead, Jeff.
Society nowadays, especially younger society, is all me, is what's mine? What do I get? They feel like they're owed something just because they're on the planet. And it's like you said earlier, Scott, is that they don't want to go out and earn it. They think they're obligated to get it.
Right. Yes.
Just because they're here. My grandfather worked his butt off. At 7 years old, he was out working in his dad's farm, plowing. He grew up dirt poor, worked his butt off, joined the Army or was drafted, whichever one, which was a cool story. He actually was stationed in Pittsburgh, went AWOL, and walked, hitchhiked from Pittsburgh back to McDonough just to be here for when my mom was born. It was
Wow.
pretty cool.
Wow.
But nowadays,
And
you would
got-
probably never see that.
Got in trouble when he got back. They gave him some severe punishment and then turn around when they found out what the scenario was, turn around, okay, we're sorry, here you go. But it was pretty cool. But he knew right from wrong.
Well, we
Had
all
strong
know right
beliefs,
from wrong.
He had a strong character. He believed in doing right. Not just that he knew right from wrong. He believed in doing the right instead of the wrong.
Right.
In society nowadays, they just don't see that anymore.
Well, nobody
Now, look
fears
at
the
what you do.
punishment anymore either. I hate
That's true.
to make it out like
That's true.
without the fear,
It
know,
needs to be some fear though.
but they need to be fear.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to go to jail. Now
Right.
3 hots and a cot. These guys act like it's no big deal
Yeah.
because they're given a nice cell. They're given the nice clean stainless steel toilet. They're
Yeah.
given the nice little bunk to lay
I
on.
didn't know that toilet was stainless steel.
You know, go back. I took a
They get
tour
some
of the
milk and
Covington
roof
jail.
over their head.
And actually, Rockdale, by the way, for anybody that's interested, they're fixing to do a thing where you can take a tour as well. I think it's kind of cool. I think everybody should go take a tour of a jail and get an eye of what it really looks like in there. But then again, most of the people that live in there don't fear it.
Well, I mean,
That's what's so cool about that show, Scared Straight, where they take all these young troubled teens, the cops, they handcuff them, they haul them to jail. They sit there and they talk to them and explain to them what happens in jail and everything, and then they put them in the Populous, let them talk to some of the people that are in the jail.
Right.
And that we need
And
more
they're
of
sitting
that.
there all acting. You got a few of them that are sitting there all bowed up and, oh, yeah, I'm bad, till they get next to the batter guy that's in there for killing his entire family with a butter knife going, okay, now what you going to do, homie?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see them there, all of a sudden their shoulders go down to their knees and they're like, yeah, you won't look at me now, will you?
Well, it's
It's
just
just
a
like
sad
you said,
thing that
they-
we're here.
But the sensationalism of bad news, as you said, about the media
Yeah.
is part of the problem as well, because the ratings and the money and the advertisement. And so I like what the caller is trying to say. You know, what the caller is saying to all those that are listening is that, listen, we've got to find positivity in our lives in order to function as a community, right, Scotty? I mean, if we
you got
don't,
to.
Right.
if we
Exactly.
focus on the problems only, we can always find fault with each other. But if we focus on the great things that are being done, and not enough spotlight is given to that.
Yeah. I mean, and again, we hear every day about this house burned down, these people got arrested, this car wreck happened, this DUI happened, this person got caught for cheating on this, or but why can't you and I, let's go make a news show. So at 5:30, let's talk about what's positive Atlanta.
Right.
And then at 6, you can come up behind me with all the horrible stuff.
Right. Well, that's why I started SIB in Atlanta, not to change the subject, but that's why I started. And back to the caller's point of calling in and sharing good stories. If listeners go online on Facebook, I'm on Facebook now, and I'm just happen to look at Positive Law Enforcement News as some kind of Facebook page. But if you look for positivity, you can find it.
Yeah.
The problem is that most people are miserable in their own problems, and so they create more misery. And I'm not talking about, I'm from corporate on down.
Right,
They're
right.
miserable. They're making the money. They may have the life.
They're just
but
not happy.
But they're miserable, and so that the sensationalism of things bad and the capitalism of things bad. But I think the word fun, just for fun radio, and later on I want to talk about that word fun and how it relates to this whole situation. Because if we're not having positive fun, then we're going to have riots. These kids were reared with negative fun.
Right.
Negative music, negative influence, negative associations. And that word fun is one of the most powerful words in education. And I want to talk about that a little later. But the caller brought up a great point. There's a lot of positive things already going on. And we need to focus not on the 6 o'clock news, but on what's really going on in our community.
And here's just a point of view. And it's just strictly a point of view. And I always tell people, Scotty glasses for everybody. I want everybody to see it different. I remember I used to say, every time I think that my day's so bad, I would go hang out with my friends that really have it bad to make me realize how good I have it.
Right.
With that being said, that same twisted way of looking at it, if you're not happy about your life and all you're seeing is other people on your news that really have it a whole lot worse, we're still just feeding negative with negative. We need to change the way we see things and go, instead of me wanting, okay, my day's bad, I got to go see somebody's day's worse. Maybe I need to realize in this brain of mine, I need to go see somebody that's got it a whole lot better, so I see what I need to aim for.
Yeah. Well, that's why you created Just for Fun.
Yeah,
Radio.
I mean, I wanted the world to quit. If you want to see horrible crap, just turn on your local news.
Right.
There is no more good news anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. DJ Scotty, I need to get in.
Yes, sir. Thanks for calling in, Jeff.
That's quite right. And I do want to say something. Remember, it's Just for Fun Radio, right?
Yep.
You made a comment earlier about when you act on an emotion, that's usually a bad choice.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Well-
married your wife based on an emotion. It's called love.
Yeah, but
So
that's
it's not
different.
always-
I'm saying though that
bad
when you're
choice.
mad or
On a negative emotion.
never react on a negative emotion. Nothing
Yeah.
good's gonna come from it.
I was
You was messing with me. I know that.
keeping it just for fun.
That's right. All right, man. Thanks for calling
Hey,
in.
We'll talk to
He
you later.
says Just
Right.
for Fun.
Bye. Yeah, and that's one of my oldest friends in the world. Me and him have got into some stupid trouble over the years, but it was always just for fun. Literally,
Yeah.
I mean, where the name came from was because of how I've always led my life. I try to make a joke out of everything, but the way I look at it is the world's miserable enough.
Yes.
Why sit around and cry anymore? I mean, there's enough positive in this world we need to find. I mean, and think about this. Name a funeral you went to that you didn't have a giggle at. Because every funeral is still like a family reunion. You still find your friends. Even if Bob's dead, you and me will talk about the good times we had with Bob, because that's what we do, is the celebration of life. And we need to celebrate every day, not
That's
just when
funny.
Bob's dead.
That's funny when you used to say that. Back to your point about a funeral. If you go to a funeral, what is the number one thing that people tend to remember? Even though there may be some bad things, they tend to remember good
The
times.
goods.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
right. Nobody wants to rehash all the bad stuff.
Right.
We lived through it once. Let's not relive it
Okay.
twice. And that's again why I was saying that it bothers me that we've gone from the Wild West, and I'm jumping very fast when I say this. We go from the Wild West to the Depression, from the Depression to Martin Luther King, who was all about love.
Yes.
Let's be equals. Then we jump through the peace, love, happiness in the 70s and all the drugs that they had to take. But then we made it to the 80s where, you got a bunch of stupid idiots snorting cocaine living up in New York. But for the whole, the 80s was not a violent time. I thought at the 80s we were going to do better. It's the 90s we started doing better. That's what hurts me, that we've gone backwards a little.
Here's where violence comes from. Violence comes from children that have not been bonded with parents
Right.
that are responsible. Violence comes from children that have not been appropriately touched, hugged, cheered on.
What did I say last week? You didn't get enough hugs.
Yeah. Violence comes from left alone to raise yourself.
And Sony
Yes.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then second of all, violence comes from environment,
That's right.
games, music, and all. So these kids that are coming of age now have to follow through with what they've been exposed to. And part of the problem is they are having kids, and now they're passing this on to their kids.
Let me catch Craig real quick. Hey, Craig. Are you there, Craig? The phone, of course. You there? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, hang on a second. Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
Yeah, so sadly, so let's back to the fun. Why this word fun is so powerful? Those people are now having kids, and they're passing on coldness, inappropriate touch, left alone, and on and on and on. We could go. And so now those kids are probably, the young preteens and teens. So we've almost got a generation and a half of cold-hearted individuals, black or white, but I'm talking about particularly in the inner city. So if they happen to be black, they happen to be black.
That's right.
So we haven't, as a society, prepare for that. And I think the best way to prepare for that is, how do we put fun back in their lives and the lives of their children and the lives of our grandchildren, great-grandchildren? How do we put fun back in communities? How do we put fun back in politics where it was fun to serve? How do we do that? And that's a conversation to be had, not just how do we fight crime or how do we stop riots, because those are the after effects of a heart that's been left alone, broken, but covering itself so they don't want to be embarrassed about all the things that they had to suffer. But everybody's had to suffer. Everybody has a story.
Thank you, everybody. And that's what I try to say. We all have something bad that happened to us that has made us who we are. And
it's what you do with it.
It's what you do with it. It's where we go from here. I mean, I can sit here all day long and harp. I had a guy in 05 break all the bones in my face, tried to kill me. And I believe the ace hole that I was died a little that day. And I came back as DJ Scotty, because when I came back, I mean, they literally called my mother and said, your son will be dead in 3.5 hours. And I walked out of the hospital. People can't explain how. And to me, that was my second chance to get it right. And I believe by like what I try to push all the positive on Facebook is because there's enough crap on Facebook. You can see anything you want to see about how a band did something good, but you can see anything about a band did something bad. You can see anything about sex. You can see anything about anything on Facebook. So we try to push the positive to say, come on, man, there's enough bad out there. We got to have something to feed your soul with something good to make you. I tell people every day I got to have an awe moment. And an awe moment for me is if I walk through a grocery store and I see a little kid smile at his mama and run up to his mama, or I see the geese at the end of the road with a little baby geese walking across the road, or I see something on television, or I happen to stand outside and just get a warm, fuzzy feeling and look at the tree that I look at across the lake. Everybody needs to take 5 minutes a day to have that awe moment, because if you live pure chaos every day, you're going to pop. And people are going to pop.
That's what has happened. People have not been taught how to have fun. Now later on, because I know you got a caller on.
Yeah, I was going to say, Craig, we'll get to you. Just I hate to hold you, but I didn't want you to not get a phone call.
Yeah, later on I want to later on I want to explain how that in parenting the word fun is associated with the word education, and I want to talk about that a little bit later for those that may be listening. And a lot of us know about that because we're older, but maybe that'll help somebody out there understand. Like my son's 16. He's got to have fun. I can't impose my life on his life.
Right.
But I've taught him enough that he can have responsible fun, safe fun.
That's right.
It may be something that I don't prefer though.
Right.
But it's safe.
But if he's smart enough to deal with it properly, then it's not going to be so bad.
Exactly. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
So Craig, what you got going on, man?
Well, this can all be wound up in a pretty tidied up sentence. And it's simply the destruction of the family.
Yes.
That's what it is. And you can say that it began with, post-colonialization of the states or what have you, back in the days of slavery up until the present or whatever, when the fatherhead was plucked out of the family and blah, blah, blah. It was a controlling mechanism. And over time, it has perpetuated, if you will, to, I think Coach said it earlier about adolescents or young adults having kids, and a dependency, kids that were raised upon government dependency, government assistance, government this, government that, what have you. They went from that into being challenged, and there was no rearing. The kids were essentially reared by the schools or reared by the grandparents, if it all happened, or the church. So there wasn't that intimacy. There wasn't that convictions, the morals, or the values was not instilled upon them. You've got a bunch of kids having kids, and they're running around and they have no idea who they are.
Well, and now I was going to say divorce. Look at the divorce. So divorce is higher, right? You got and the kids having kids. So you have all these single parents that are having to work. Who's taking care of the kid? And what you said, society's raising the kid.
Right. And so what do you expect? I mean, this didn't happen overnight, certainly. No. And it's not going to be cured or it's not going to be fixed overnight. And if you have a society of children having children and, bad things happen to us all, and they don't have the moral turpitude or the conviction to reach down inside herself and pluck herself out of it, which is very difficult to do when you have no idea who or what you are. All you know is what you've been told you are.
Right.
Well, have you seen the video?
It's very difficult. That's my 2 cents on it.
Have you seen the video about the mom
The mom
slapping
who found her son doing the riot yesterday.
and slapping her.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
He's full black,
No.
mask, the hat, you know, so you can't see nothing but a little bit around his eyes. Black backpack, black everything. Mama, yellow yellow shirt, white pants.
Yeah, yellow
full
shirt,
figure
white
woman walks right up to him and smacks him, pushes him away from the crowd. And you see another guy dressed in black watching. She's smacking him all in his forehead. Boy, smacking him on the back of his head. And he starts to walk away. She grabs him again. And Steph said in the video that
I'm pulling the video.
well,
up
that's
now.
what I was gonna say. Let me shoot it across the big screen.
Oh,
if we
you're
can
gonna-
find it. But yeah, here we are. You know,
And you know what I was waiting? You know what I was waiting for to happen in that scenario?
Oh,
What's that?
He saw the video.
Is for her to is for the police that were right there in their little line to snatch her up for beating on her kid.
no, I think at that point they were
They was helping.
they were trying. They were probably happy.
That's right. And you know, it comes the strength of a society, the strength of a community. It works from oneself out,
Can you see it?
and it goes from an individual, you know, the close circle or your close circle, family, then community, and you
That's
can't
powerful.
expect it to jump. You can't expect it to start at the community level when there's no family or
That's
familial
powerful right there.
foundation.
Oh my God.
So, you know, I have a few rules here, and I raise my kids on, you know, the difference between right and wrong. It's your choice. No, there's going to be repercussions or consequences if you choose wrong.
That's right.
And they know at 6 o'clock at the very latest that their butt needs to be sitting in the dining room because it's family time and we're having dinner.
Can you send me that
That's it,
video?
period. We're running around like crazy people during the day, but in the evening we're sitting down, we're coming together as a family, we're talking about our day, the experiences, the troubles, etc. And that's what you have to have it.
That video is so interesting. To the clip I'm sitting at, but back to Scotty's point, there's hope. That just let us know right there that in the midst of all that chaos, one person said, "No, I may be a single mother. I don't know if she is or not.
Yeah.
Or I may be, working or whatever, but not on my watch. Will you come out here in a city that we love and we pay taxes in? Because I'm sure she's paying some kind of tax.
Oh yeah.
And making a mockery of the city of Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
That gives
Now
us
there
hope.
was a similar video. There was a similar video a while back that was viral, I guess. Young man, probably late 20s, early 30s, black man, and his son on there, where his son had supposedly joined a gang or something like that. And you know how they go through the little ritual, the beat in to the gang or the clique or whatever.
The initiation.
And he had the video roll and said, "I'm getting ready to walk him out of it." So he slapped him around a little bit and took him out. That was a pretty interesting video too. If I find that link, I'll send it to you guys because it was right along those lines.
And anybody that's watching our YouTube feed, I'm fixing to push play on this video. You can see, and look at this gentleman right here with the green camera, the green phone. So he's videoing mom, but look at all the people that's got all their black on and they're all trying to do their thing. But you'll see, here's mom on this video where mom's fixing to, of course, they're going to have their commercial first.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody
there's a
hang
commercial.
tight on
Because they know DJ Scotty Just for Fun Radio is doing it big. So
yeah, right. They're like, we're going to make sure our commercial gets played. But, here's a mom that, thank the Lord that she went out there and decided to get her own kid. But look, she's yanking her kid and snatching him away from all this. Look, smack, smack, smack.
And I hope they don't
Look,
press charges on her.
how big and bad is he now?
Exactly.
As he's trying to run from mama.
Ooh, DJ Scotty, that thing get me excited right there. I'm sorry.
That right there just proves no matter how big and bad you are, when mama comes to get you, you're going to do what you're told.
Yeah, you ain't running from mama.
Oh, I had a
Look,
I had a
I hadn't seen
flashback
this
of when
long
I
of
was
a video.
about-
Yeah,
I had a
she's still going.
flashback
Go
of
ahead.
when I was in about the I had a flashback of when I was in about the 6th grade, and my mom walked up into the gym on me and pulled that number on me in front of God and everybody.
That's right.
And he was looking at her like, Mama, why'd you have to do
DJ,
that to me?
Ask the caller to send that link over so we can see that one too if he's near a computer. We need some hope. This is just for fun radio, not just for.
You know, I just keep shaking my head because it's like and as I'm saying this as fast as my mind's working, I sit here and I go, okay, so the 80s, I said, man, the 80s were so good. Now you got to look at the people we grew up in the 80s, but then in the 90s, pardon me, did you have the husband and wives that got divorced late 90s into the 2000s? So now their teens grew up without the two parents forcing real world on them. So then they now have children. Those those kids get pregnant at 14, 15 years old and have a baby. Mom who's single is trying to work to support the house now got a daughter she's supporting with a baby she's supporting. And now that one's baby's becoming a teenager, you know? So I can see it being a vicious cycle. I just can't understand why nobody wants to fix it.
But here's the interesting thing. I learned this as an early childhood major in college. The mother brings the nurture to the family unit. The father brings the play.
Yeah, because he don't want to be the bad guy.
Right.
When he's home, he wants to be the nice guy.
Well, no, inherently our DNA, our men like to play. They got toys, they got boats, they got motorcycles. We like to play. And so in a responsible way, the father brings that component. That's why a lot of mothers don't want to play with their kids.
Right.
They're saying, go sit down. They'll give them a PlayStation because mothers inherently, not that they can't, they're there to nurture. Right. They love to nurture. They do it well. Fathers, when they're involved, they play with their kids. They spend intimate time playing, safe, secure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when the father is not there, the play component of the early development is absent. And so now the child is left to play on his or her own terms.
Right.
Yeah.
And so who's available to play? My friends.
Yeah.
You know, my associates from school. Right. You see what I mean?
And now that the video games are just nothing but kill. I mean, how many times have we already heard that the New Jack City car, what is it, the car game? Grand Theft Auto. How many times have we already heard that so-and-so got locked up as a teenager and they say, and it came from Grand Theft Auto. I mean, it's a game. There's just a game, people.
But the absence of a man in a home is the absence of fun. And now remember, all that is within a responsible, realm.
Exactly.
But the father brings that. Well, can I go over to my friend's house? The child wants to go play. The father checks that. Well, what friends are those? Well, what are you going to do? What time are you going to be back? So I really want the listening audience to understand that the father is, besides the point of bringing home the money, the bacon, the father brings to the family unit a sense of balanced fun.
Yes.
Yes.
And without that father being there or that man being there, the boyfriend, whatever you want to call it, that child has to find that part of its development on its own.
Right.
The mother normally does not come from working 8 to 10 hours, coming home playing with no kids when she got to do laundry.
That's what I say. You got to do everything.
Exactly. So the child must play, and so they find it elsewhere. Right. Unfortunately, they find it in insecure, unsecure areas, bad associations, criminology. I mean, on and on and on. And so this is one of the components that the church and communities need to understand. Children must play. And that's why we take time like Commissioner Oz, to get involved in the community. But essentially with this basketball tournament that's coming, I don't know if you have that flyer, we're trying to make sure that children have a chance to play in the form of competition in this sense, so that they can know that, listen, I don't know what you're doing in the back in the booth, but Commissioner wants them to know, listen, we want you to know you can play and do it responsibly and get attention.
Right.
Remember that conversation
Good attention.
we had? Remember that conversation we had? I was here
positive
last.
attention.
Get attention in a positive way that makes you feel good.
Yeah, because as men, or excuse me, let me go back. As boys, and now even as men, now that I sit here and think about it, as boys, we were always one-upping each other.
Yeah.
If me and Craig would have been hanging out, Craig would have had a cool bicycle, I tried to have a cooler one. Or Craig would play basketball, I tried to be better. Or Craig, yeah, it was just that way. And and listen, we're that way with motorcycles. Us now as grown men.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's just
under the auspices of play is all the components. You got competition, you've got attention, you've got recognition. You can go on and on with that, but under the components of play and fun,
right,
there's a lot of great aspects that can those things can transfer into your job relating situation, your girlfriend or your boyfriend relating. So without the right structure of play, we have a big problem.
Well, right. Well, see,
society.
as a teenager, the way I kept getting in trouble is I had a single mom. Worked all the time. My dad was never around. My dad and mom had gotten divorced. You know, and then when I did stay with my grandmother was confined to a wheelchair. So she couldn't do a whole lot either. So I found mischief to get into. But like with me, when we were out trying to rip off cars, it wasn't because we needed to. It was because we had nothing else to do.
Yeah, something fun to do.
And I kept proving that I could do it one step more than the other guy. And literally, it got to the point where the very last time I did something stupid, I had to jump a fence because somebody was shooting at me. And that's when I realized this reality, I pushed it way too far. Because we've gone from me one-upping the next guy every time, one-upping by one-upping. And then once you hit a number 10, the only thing you do is try to reach for number 11.
Imagine if a father was there, the father would challenge that child, the father would celebrate the child's competitive nature.
Right, we'd have been fishing, hunting, something. We would have been something.
Exactly. So for those callers that are listening,
I think.
Go ahead, Craig.
I think you're onto something there when you mention the play component. But at the same time, I feel that the play component was a necessity or a balancing, if you will, because in most quote unquote traditional families, the fatherhead or the figurehead of the family was also the disciplinarian.
Yes. The balance of the two brings out the fun, though.
Right.
But my father, back to your point, my father was a disciplinarian beyond my wildest imaginations. He started out playing with us, but then he stopped. He didn't take us to no ball games. My father was there. My father's been married 56 years. My father didn't play with us at all. I'll tell you what he did. One time he started teaching us how to play basketball. This is where it died, DJ. And he was teaching us how to play basketball. I don't know how my father knew about basketball, but he was good. And so we were good at 3 points. I wasn't horrible at layups, but I was good at 3 points. So finally, he left us to ourselves, and we was watching a basketball game at the playground. And, you know, it was in inner city in Cleveland. And long story short, this guy lost the basketball game. We were watching this now as kids. And the guy said, well, I'll shoot you. You know, who do you think you are? Because he's talking trash or whatever.
Right.
And so the guy's name was George. He went around the guy's house, which was like 2 houses up from our house. He says, well, if you come around to my house, the guy said to George, I'm going to shoot you. You know, it's just you're talking that trash. You come to my house, I'm going to shoot you. I'm shoot to kill. You know, and so the kid goes around to the front of the guy's house, stands out there talking trash. You know, what you gonna do now? What you gonna do now?
Right.
The guy had a shotgun from the 3rd freaking floor, and shot the guy like 5 times. And from that point on, I promise you, I was no more interested in basketball. And I don't know what happened to my father because he never talked about it.
Right.
But he never taught us anything about basketball again. So my point to you is that even if you had a father present, back to the caller's point, my father was a disciplinarian, which was good. But where we got in trouble is that the disciplinarian was all he was.
That's all he was. Okay, so he didn't give you the balance.
Yeah, he didn't give us the balance. Now, my mother tried, you know, you know how women are. They'll rescue a situation in a quick hot minute and put it on this track. But then the father's got to help keep it on track. So he kept us with the right and wrong thing, but we never had any fun.
Man, see, I got lucky. My mom tried to do everything. My mom was super mom. So like when I was 11, my mom was trying to get me into Boy Scouts. That was one of the, I rode bicycles everywhere. That kept me busy to burn off that energy. And then got into the Boy Scouts, which, you know, you don't ever hear about that hardly anymore. That was probably some of the best fun I ever had.
I was in Boy Scouts.
You know, that was amazing. And it was just fun. And I don't understand why people can't just have simple fun anymore. I mean, I guess it's just a different world.
Culture has redefined fun as being something nasty, something kinky, something freaky, something, you know. And so we have to, just for Fun Radio and other entities, we have to define what true fun is. If you're not safe, it's not fun.
Did I lose you, Craig?
I
guess
so.
If it's not safe, it's not fun.
And see, mine
How about
was
you?
kind of a reverse
You there?
role. I had my dad.
I'm here now.
Okay, sorry.
And my mom left when I was a young age, and my dad was everything. My dad was the disciplinary. He was the nurturer, and we had fun, and we had a lot of fun. But he also had to work, and there were times where he had to go work out of town, and me and my brother, we would get into some mischief. But you best know, when my dad got home on Friday afternoon, he knew every single thing that me and my brother got into.
Well, back then our neighbors paid attention to us.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
look, I had, and this is why I say I didn't grow up with black and white. I had some Jehovah's Witnesses that lived underneath us in the apartment complex. Mr. Sanders, if I could ever find Richie's dad, Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders worked at Delta, and he had that weird shift where he would go in at like 1 in the morning, but then he'd get home like a few minutes, after we went to school. So what was really cool is if I ever need anything, I knew they were downstairs. There was, and my single mom was always at work, but my mom knew for me to get to that downstairs with my bicycle, I had to go past Mr. Sanders' door. And if he heard me, all he had to do is look out that peephole, and he could see everything I would be getting into right in front of that apartment complex. And we kept up with that back then.
How many people's mama used to say, "Wait till your dad gets home"?
My mother said that all the time.
Man, I was always fearing my mama say, "Wait till I get home."
Yeah, that's what my daddy said. Wait till I get home.
He read the paper first before he said anything.
Really now.
And after you heard that paper shut,
you knew it was time.
You knew, man, it's getting ready to come down.
And this is kind of on the subject, but off the subject. When we were growing up, the mentality, or at least in my home, was children were seen and not heard, especially when adults were talking. But nowadays, you have these kids that come up, adult, mom and daddy's talking to somebody, and they're sitting there, mama, or dad. At what point do you look at the child and say, "Excuse me, do you see me talking? I'll get to you in a moment." And
there's
that's
no boundaries.
Exactly.
And I used to always use the words, and now that I do this talk radio so much, I don't really say it like I used to in the construction world, but I used to always tell people, there's an invisible line. I live by that line. You don't cross that line.
You don't cross.
There is just a line of respect. And I actually got mad and made a video a couple weeks back over a guy that was disrespecting me, because I remember there was too many years. I spent from 1990 until 2002, nothing but commercial electric. We were on big job sites. And let me tell you, if you're we would be roughing in a Marriott, which means it would be a slab poured and then concrete supports and another slab. There would be no walls. And the walls would start on the bottom, but you get to the 5th floor, all the way to the 10th floor would still be just open slab with a guide, a little cord, a galvanized wire around it. And I would always say, that line you don't cross, because you could accidentally get pushed over that.
Right.
Or you would accidentally get a tie wrap and lock you in a porta-john. And there's times we've been out there in fields roughing in pipes in the ground, and there's nothing worse than it being 100-degree weather and you're in a ditch doing some pipe work and some dude throwing chunks of clay on you. You don't run your mouth on a job site. Accidents happen. And I developed that mentality of, I'm going to give you respect because I dang sure hope you give me some. There's none of this, I'm going to disrespect you and you're going to give me respect. No, it's an equal, I better give you respect, because if I don't, that shovel can accidentally go across my head. And we all live that way. All the construction guys did. And it blows my mind that in the world that we're in now, there's no fear. And I hate to use the word fear, but that's what it was. As long as I knew something could happen to me, I didn't do bad to somebody else.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, I don't know that it's not necessarily, there's not a fear. And the respect thing goes a long way also. But, there's very little parenting going on. The parents today want to be their friend more than they want to be a parent.
Yes.
Yes.
And as far as not being afraid of repercussion or consequences, we was talking last week or whenever it was about some cover songs, and 9 Inch Nails song covered by Johnny Cash, the Hurt. If you listen to some of the words of that song, I hurt myself today to see if I could feel. it's a balancing act between anything, and you'll find, the people that are led into or discover sadomasochism, for instance. Where does that come from? It comes from an overindulgence of pleasure until they become numb of pleasure, and then they turn to pain to see if they still feel or not.
Right.
So there might be a little something to that,
Maybe. Well, I hate to do it. Let me shoot off to a commercial. I know we were over talking again. It's one of them days where it's just great conversation. So thanks for calling in. Hit us back if you jump in on any more.
All right, buddy.
All right, thank you. All right, y'all, let's shoot off to commercial. I know we overtalked it, but this is just such an intriguing conversation because it, like Chris with Ravens, when I was a kid, we were out from sun up to sundown riding our bikes, building forts, not robbing or stealing. And that's what we were. Like, I would drink a Coca. I was a hyper kid. I wasn't even supposed to, but I'd drink a Coca-Cola, eat some chocolate Pop-Tarts, and you wouldn't see me till 3. I'd leave the time I woke up. I'd be back at like 3 o'clock, try to grab me something else to munch on, and I'd be gone again till 9.
And there wasn't any of this sleeping till 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
But there wasn't also staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning either. Because we were outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, we were outside burning that energy. When the sun went down, well, we were falling asleep. Right. But now they're sitting in playing on your phone, playing your Xbox.
Yeah.
They don't even know what sun up and sundown is anymore.
Oh yeah. I remember, during the summertime being at my grandparents', my cousins lived across the street. I couldn't wait till 9 o'clock came because I knew I could go outside then.
Right.
Because that was after breakfast, after everything was cleaned up.
Right.
I could go outside and we could play.
Yeah. But the common thread for all of us is that there was structure.
Yes.
The missing pieces there'll always be missing pieces, but there was structure, there was respect, there were boundaries.
Right.
And there were a culture of community partners.
Yes.
Yeah, the uncles, aunties, grandmother, grandfather, big brother. I mean, my father, he didn't play with us, much, but he did send us out, me and my brother, to play. But he'd say, well, you go out together, you come back together. And he had certain rules. And then he had this Tarzan yell. If you heard Tarzan yell, you had so many minutes to be home.
Yeah.
And so, we'd be playing, and then all the guys in the neighborhood would be like, who the heck is that? But we knew who it was. We didn't want to say it was our dad. It was like, oh, we got to go, But there was structure. So the biggest problem that we're finding in today's society is that there is no structure. It's whatever goes, whatever you feel, whatever you want. And then
get it now.
And then in some cases, blame it on this, blame it on that. But the reality of it is, if you had to pull yourself up after that accident you were talking about, with that fight or whatever, if I had to pull myself up, if the next person had, then those individuals that are rioting and those individuals that are doing whatever, eventually they're going to have to face themselves and pick themselves up.
Yeah.
We can all find a number of excuses why we can't do whatever.
Right.
But when you pick yourself up, you'd be surprised the energy, the resources.
That's right.
The intelligence.
Well, with that being said, when this guy attacked me and I didn't even know the guy, I just happened to be the wrong place, the wrong time. And my dad, what's the first thing you do? You want revenge because you're mad. And I said to him, when I get my hands on this guy one day, of course, it took months for my face to heal. And I'm like, when I get my hands on this guy, he said, you've got one of two choices. You're either going to let this eat you up. It's going to fester inside you. And this guy was high on drugs and did what he did to you. But now you are going to do something stupid, and it's going to be considered premeditated. And you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail if you hurt this guy. He said, so you either got to realize that he was high on drugs and he didn't realize what he was doing, and you got to let it go and let this build you as a new person and a better person, or you're going to let this fester up in you, and you're going to go out and commit a sin. You're going to go out and murder somebody. You will spend the rest of your life in jail. DJ, so I had to change my way of thinking.
I got to ask you this question, though, but how did you, because my weakness was revenge.
Oh, I'm bad about wanting my revenge.
Listen,
man.
I let it sit a year and still get you.
I do too.
But I tell
brother, I feel you.
When we come back live, tell them how did you overcome that? I mean, because when you want revenge, it is so, you can see it, you can taste it, you can feel it. But to let it go takes so much courage to let what somebody did to you.
And my wife tells me every day, you got to just let it go.
Yeah, that's the
It's
hardest
hard.
thing. Yeah.
And I've always been this guy. I was raised with my real father and my uncle's mentality was, if you can't fix it, hit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my dad and my uncle had told me so many stories. I always say that my dad, my uncle, and my grandfather were the 3 wickedest men that ever walked this planet. And the stories where they've shot each other, they've stabbed each other, they've cut each other's throat. My uncle literally had an 8-inch scar on his throat where my dad had sliced his throat.
Wow.
You know, when my dad was 18 years old and my uncle was 17, my grandmother came home from work, and my dad had the iron in one hand and the plug in this hand, and had it wrapped around Ricky's throat. It was choking him in the kitchen floor. That's the mentality in which my dad's family was. And literally my uncle had a hole shot in his leg where my dad blew his leg apart with a gun. And that was their mentality. So when I woke up in the hospital, you know, your brain's scattered, a couple days go by, you're hearing more and more about it. And revenge starts plotting in your own mind because, you know, how did this guy do this to me?
Yeah.
But literally it was the first time in my life I thought about tomorrow, because in my eyes, I almost didn't have a tomorrow. I mean, my heart stopped when they put me in the ambulance, and then they brought it back and it did it a second time. And I have to hope that evil that was in me left, because all I could think about is, I don't want to leave this planet. I want tomorrow. And that's why I try to tell everybody, man, can't you want better? Don't you want better? I mean, if you're not happy with what you got right now, you can change it.
Right.
I mean, I feel the passion in me when I'm saying it. If you want better, you got to change it. You can't sit there and spin your tires in the mud.
You just said the key, though, that's going to be the answer to the generation that we're dealing with now and the generation to come. They've got to change it.
Yeah. You have to want different. You have to want different in your life. All these people rioting, they want different. Well, if you want different, then you need to go forward. You don't go backwards. And the problem is that rioting is not moving forward.
Right. But it's going to be a process. And what's unfortunate, when you're immature, you don't like processes.
No. Well, you don't want change.
Yeah.
You don't. Nobody's gonna tell me what to do.
Right.
Nobody's gonna change me.
Right.
Now, and I lived that for 20 years. I know nobody's gonna change me.
Yeah.
And now I'm blown away with how much I've grown up over the last 10 years, and over the last 5, how much I've changed my life.
Yeah.
Because now, okay, I go get life insurance because I don't want to leave my family with nothing.
Right.
I never thought more than tomorrow. I've always thought today, and I never thought more of tomorrow. But now I'm thinking of the other days after tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I want to be part of helping to change the world, man, because there's so many lives that are getting lost every day. So let me shoot off the commercial. Listen, I'm fixing to play a song. No, we still talking, brother. We ain't stopping yet. We're going to shoot off the commercial. And I've got a song coming up by a group called Perfect Circle, and it's a remake of Imagine. And I'm also posting it as a video. If you want to see the real world, you watch that video, because as I was saying, the rest of the world have these crazy riots, but we don't see it a whole lot. We don't hear it a whole lot. Now we're having them. But this video that's from about 8 years ago is showing you how many crazy things is really happening out there that we just don't see. So I'm going to play the song. I'm posting the video. We'll be right back, everybody.
It got chilly in here all of a sudden.
Yeah, it did. I didn't know we was on the air. I thought you had went to break.
No, I was going to, but we still going. Man, when we get a good one going, I don't I need to take my commercials. But shoot, when we're on a roll, you can't get back. Sometimes you leave it, you can't get back to it. I don't want to leave it when we're on a roll.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because sometimes we'll be in the middle of discussing something and we'll say, we got to take a break real quick. And then when we get back, it's just,
it's not
the mood's
there.
gone.
Yeah. Wow. Can you take some pictures of me when he comes back? I'm just gonna show you how to work my phone real quick. First of all, if it goes out, you just swipe. There's no code on it.
Okay.
And then go to camera. And I'm gonna try to make a promo for you guys. Hopefully sometime this weekend.
Okay.
Hit that camera thing. But I sure thought we was off the air. I was like, oh my God. He said, okay, we'll be right back. I was like, oh no, he did not say that. Then put my headphones on.
Is this the Samsung Galaxy 5?
No, that's the Galaxy 3. And if you turn it this way, I can use it in film. Yeah, if you turn the phone this way and take it, I can use it in the film.
My husband's got a friend. This doesn't look anything like it.
Yeah, because I put it in that little case. It makes it look a little bigger.
I'm sitting here worried that I didn't have enough light. That's actually perfect.
Yeah. No, you got it looking good, and then you put the drapes.
Yeah, that just helps because when we have bands and stuff come in, we try to get them to play on that side.
Mm-hmm.
So it also causes to have a backdrop. So it hurts me seeing the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to keep it where if people are sitting here and we take pictures that way, you don't see all my junk like the counter.
Mm-hmm.
We started remodeling and I just once the busy season started back, I hadn't had time to clean everything up.
Yeah. But yeah, that were fun. I built when I came to Georgia. Interesting. I know we're off here now, right?
Yeah. Well, the camera's still rolling back.
But when I came to Georgia, my community programs that I designed for nonprofits or churches were based on the word. The number one rule we had: if you're not having fun, come and let me know as the director.
Right.
But our fund was defined responsibly. You know what I'm saying, with accountability, with parameters. You know, all the stuff that you guys were discussing that we grew up with. Reintroducing what fun was meant to mean to kids, because kids are always going to want to do something, whether it's good or bad. You know?
I mean, I don't know how y'all were when you were younger, and you probably can't hear me because I'm not in the mic. But you know what happened to all the skating rings? Because that's where I used to go Friday and Saturday night, and you know we didn't see any people there drinking or doing drugs. I've heard now that the one on Salem Road, and I know the owner, and so it's still there, but I've been told that there's drugs in there. The kids bring drugs in there.
Wow.
And I mean, you know, they're trying to clean it up, but there's only so many.
Well, part of the reason is that in a lot of cases, I kind of think, and DJ alluded to this as well, there's nothing for kids to do now.
Exactly.
There's nothing. I mean,
and what happened to that? What can we as a community do to get that back in?
But I think what you said earlier is that we gave them too much too fast. We let them see too much too
just
fast.
receive it.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't earn it. There was no process. You know, there was no.
How many iPhones have I bought?
Oh my gosh.
Well, my phone broke. I gotta have a phone.
Exactly.
I can get you a flip phone. I don't want a flip
Yeah.
phone. So was mama. No offense to my wife, but we got to get Beth a new phone. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not buying her another phone.
My son's the same way. So
you know, but then now I've caught my daughter. I bought her a new phone. So I mean, it's like God, you know.
So now it's the threshold.
But we're guilty
us,
for this.
But the threshold for us as parents and adults in our age bracket, I'm 51, has been moved up unfairly on us.
Yeah.
And we didn't expect it.
Right.
It's like, okay, wait a minute. You know, for us, going outside and just having some sun and some cold water on a hot day was fun.
Yeah.
Squirting the hose and playing with the garbage cans or something.
Right.
But now I've got to buy another iPhone.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how many times we used to beg Sarah, you know, just come on, let's go outside. Let's play kickball in the front yard. You know, let's take a walk around the block. We can put your sister in her wheelchair. She can follow us. You know, let's just go out and do something.
Get out of the house.
Get out of the house.
Right.
You know, let's go to the park.
And that's what I missed about the Relay for Life when I said I wish I would have just been there as a person and not as working, so that I could have experienced like everybody else. Because I've caught myself being so busy that being busy has taken away from family.
Yeah.
My daughter says all the time, but you're always doing something. You're always doing something. And I'm like, I know. And because of my business, Monday through Friday, this is what I do. But then the weekends, you know, are busy. I mean, I almost work 7 days a week. So it's sad.
What you have to give yourself credit for, we have to do this as grown folks. We got to give ourselves credit that we've helped them on the threshold we were exposed to.
Right.
But the threshold has been moved. So look, I'm adjusting myself. Like my son wants to drive. In my house, you didn't drive till you was in college. You know, so I had to adjust my attitude and not be so, you know, against the idea. You know, I'm for it responsibly, but I wasn't even for it at first. I was like, are you serious? I mean, you know.
All right, here we go. All right, and we're back. Man, we are just some great conversations.
Yeah.
And you know what's really cool is like I'm remembering all the good stuff that's actually happened over the years. And it's like, man, you know, except for me being so fast paced right now with the business stuff, it's like, how much can we do? And we were saying that what's there for the kids to do around here?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, we were saying that, you know, Henry County built a little dirt RC race car track people can go to. They've got a little paintball thing, which you got to pay for, but it's right there in the county. Skateboard park, you know.
Maybe in the future, I can help with this. We need to compile a nice list that's like a video that scrolls, and maybe at some point in the show or some point during the week or whatever, it just scrolls just for fun things, you know, that your kids can do, because a lot of parents are, you know, when you finish working 8 hours, you're not thinking about taking, but if you see it, or if you see a flat, oh, okay, paintball, okay,
right,
you know what I'm saying? Maybe it'll help the parents, you know what I'm saying? But
well, around here, there's not a whole, well, let me word it this way. I say there's not a whole lot, but we're finding out every day there's a little more in Conyers that we don't know about, and it's because nobody's talking.
Right.
And I don't mean any offense to the people that work under Oz, but like Oz introduced me to a lady in the county, and I kept saying, can I get on a mailing list? She goes, well, you can go to our.com. I went, I run a radio station.
I don't
if
have
you can
time.
if you can just send me some information of any event you have, I can share it. Well, if you go to the.com, if you could just send me something and say this weekend, because there's so much information that doesn't get shared.
I want to help you with that, and maybe when we talk off air, if you'll remind me or text that to my phone, so that I can, when I come in, I'll have, you know, the websites. I don't know what websites, but if you shoot those to me, because that's what I'm about. I'm about trying to make people aware that there are resources, and maybe I can take that off.
Yeah, because that's what we've been trying to say. We're like, listen, a lot of these people now, everybody knows you can go to Stone Mountain with your kids, but let's look at it. So by the time, it's like right now, I'm trying to get ready for a vacation. I feel like I'm going through more work to go to a vacation. Now, I know when we went to Six Flags, it was not Six Flags, but that's just the same as Stone Mountain. It's so much of an effort to try to get everything you need because you're leaving so far from your home. But if we've got this Johnson's Park where you can just go and walk with your kids, that's 10 minutes down the road. Grab your kids, go 10 minutes down the road. I didn't know that there's a little walking park behind the library in Covington that's kind of cool. Me and my wife went down there and walked with the baby pushing the stroller. There's so many little things that's right down the road, and everybody acts like you're supposed to know about it. But if nobody's talking about it, we all live on this world of Facebook. And if nobody knows it exists, then nobody's sharing it because they don't know. It's a one-hand fight another.
I've been learning in Atlanta. I have a black car service that I offer, and I partner with Uber, but also I have my own clients. I must confess, I lived here 20 years and did not know Atlanta. That's a shame. When I think about what I didn't know, it's really a shame. And so that's a testament to so many of us live in counties. We don't know the county. We don't know the people. We don't know where the parks are. We don't know where.
Well, you run from home to work, and you only see what you pass.
That's it. Sometimes we only see what we want to see.
That's true too.
Say.
No, I was going to point that out because I know there's times sitting at red light, everybody's looking down at the phone. They're not even paying attention to their surroundings.
There you go.
And that's another sad thing. I was driving past something the other day, and I can't remember now what it was, but I remember I looked up and said, when did they build that? Well, let's look at facts. It started out as a plot of dirt, and they had to come dig in and put some electrical in there. Then they had to pour some foundation before the building ever started getting built. So we know that had to be 2 or 3 months worth of work, right? And for me to go, when did they build that? That shows how oblivious I am.
It was up there where that the gas station used to be, because you and I both were like, what are they building?
Yeah, it's now a mattress store.
Yes.
And we were going, when did that happen?
Yeah, and the vitamin store. Yes.
So it's kind of those things of we get into our own comfort zone, our own bubble, if you will. And I like to. I want to open up my bubble. I told my wife, I said, you know, I've already done all these crazy things, but what I did was repetitious. It was the same thing over and over and over and over. I said, man, I want to start experiencing new things. I said, you know what? and this is when we first started dating. I said, I want all my new things to be with you. I want us to experience new things together. So like I took her to a town called Juliet, which is where they build fried green tomatoes. I've been there a few times. I took her Sunday to let her, get some fried green tomatoes, and we got to experience the day together. And there's so many things like that that's right down the road that people don't know about. Like go in the same direction. There's a free zoo that you can go to. It's free. They accept donations. There's bears and peacocks and pigs and goats and all sorts of cool stuff, and it's free. And then there's the other one that has a lion, a tiger, and a bear all living in one caged fenced area, and they've grown up as babies together.
Right.
Yes.
And the joke is the lions, tigers, and bear, oh my. And that's another one called the Noah's Ark.
Is it Noah's Ark? Okay.
But all these are just right down the road that nobody knows about. And it's like, come on, man, you can grab your kids and go do all these little silly. You don't always take your kids to Stevie B's and Chuck E. Cheese.
I was sitting in a restaurant one time. I was doing some work, and I was looking through. I forget the name of the little publication, but I was looking for something for my son to do. And that's I raised my son. The time he came out of the hospital, he wasn't ever in a daycare. I actually did it myself.
No, that's pretty cool.
My wife.
And your son is very respectable, by the way.
I mean, he better be. He's gonna have
he is.
But I was looking through this magazine. I was looking for something to do that I could afford. Key. Afford, right?
Afford.
Oh yeah, keyword.
And so as I was looking, I went all the way to the back of this thing. It was it's a little Tucker publication, and it said Navy Sea Cadets. And I never heard of the Navy Sea Cadets. So anyway, I called them up and I said, what's your program about? And they pointed me to the website. I said, well, the parents they're going to ask the magical question. Well, how much is this?
Yes.
And, I think I asked it when I went out there to see the guy and ask him on the phone. No, I take that back. He says on the phone, he says it's $85. So I remember in my mind, I was already there. I was rushing there. It's $85 a year.
Right.
To join.
Wow. So why not jump all over
So
that?
I went out there because I was looking for, and every parent that may be listening to this, they need to look for community partners to help them reinstitute the values so they don't feel frustrated and alone. And even though I'm a man and it was me and my wife raising our kids, I was still looking for community partners because I was the one with the kids the most. And I said, I can't do this alone. But I am so glad I signed him up for that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he's trained on naval bases. Some of the stuff that he's done, he can't even tell me because it was classified.
Right, and that's cool. That is super cool, and that's why I was saying, like the Boy Scouts for me was, you don't. I guess when I say it like this, it sounds weird, but you don't think of how crucial it was, but it was. Like when we went to Stone Mountain a couple of weeks ago, as we were driving around the park, I was like, man, I remember camping there. I remember camping there, and I'm thinking some of my happiest memories. We were camping, and it was just us boys just being stupid and playing flashlight war in the dark. I mean, it was normal. And now I hear all this bad, and I'm like, how come nobody just wants to be normal anymore? I don't know. I feel let down sometimes.
Well, see, you've learned, and our other host here, I've learned the hard way, but you have to take the time to stop the comfort pattern that you're in and do something else. It's hard when you're grown. You work 8 hours, 9 hours, 15 hours. It's you don't feel like doing it. But one thing I learned from my last child is once I decided, the energy comes.
Yes.
But if I don't decide it first, the energy's not there because I'm in logic mode. I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. I'm really tired. I'm hungry. I got to do this. I got to do that. But the child is still waiting on the answer.
And they're not all the things you are.
Right.
They're still wide open.
So once I say, I've learned to throw up my hands. I said, once I say yes,
right.
About 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, now I'm feeling energetic about it. About an hour into it, I'm really excited. Why? Because until you make the decision, the energy don't often come.
Right.
You got to decide to do something different.
That's right.
And then when you see their faces light up, you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
But you know, you think about it like this, and I love my television, and don't get me wrong.
Yeah, me too.
And there is way too many hours I probably waste on television.
Yeah.
But for me, it takes my mind off of this because my mind runs so fast all the time about work. So to me, it's good to pull myself out of it and relax for a minute. But when I look back now on the fact my daughter's 19, if I would have said, okay, as much as I love that show, it's just television.
I've had,
you know, if as much as I love that show, that's just television. I could have done this.
Was it on
you know?
demand then though?
Well, and to see back then, no. I mean,
exactly.
now there's DVR. I can watch it anytime. But you know, it's like, golly, man, and we now are quoting our parents.
Right.
Yes.
We're now, and we always said we would never do that, but we are, because you can't turn back that clock. You know, I hug on my granddaughter, and all I can do is almost cry when I look at my daughter and go, "I am sorry. I wish I was this guy when you were this age." Yeah. And she says she understands, but it still doesn't change. I still live with that every day. I still live with every day. Why wasn't I better? Why wasn't I a better guy then? And I can't change, but golly, I can make up for it every day, every chance I get now.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's important
we all
to me.
have that. We all have that. I mean, there was a lot of things that I went through with my first two kids that I just didn't know enough about life.
That's right.
I knew about how to be responsible, but you can't just know responsibility.
Right.
You got to know how life happens.
That's right. I was responsible. I went to work every day, but I just tuned everything out because I was living my life.
Right.
And that's where I got stupid.
Right.
I thought being responsible was working, making that money. And man, it did great. I went and bought a Corvette. I turned around and, you know, went and bought an Excursion. I mean, I was spending $1,800 a month for two cars. For two cars. I mean, my payment plan, one was $852 and one was $848. I was spending that much money on two cars, and it's like
being responsible.
I thought I was being responsible, but really I was being stupid.
Yeah.
I was just blowing all that money.
Yeah, because that's a house payment.
Yeah.
Well, I
You
know,
especially back then.
Well, my problem was I had a 2,800 square foot house, and I was living by myself. I was divorced, and I said, man, I bet if I get some roommates up in here, look at all the money I could save. So that I did. Then I wasn't living by myself, so I got roommates. Well, then because I had all these spare rooms, I got a couple more roommates, and I had some friends needing a place to live. And then what did I do? I rented my small upstairs bedroom to this girl I knew. Then I had two guys downstairs. Then I had another guy move in. It cost me $32 a month to live in my house.
Wow.
So all that money, I said, I'm gonna go buy me a car. So I had a little lowrider. I had my work truck and a lowrider Dakota. I had all tricked out, and I said, man, I'm gonna buy me a new car. So I went and bought a Vet, and I said, like, man, this thing's beautiful. And then it realized to my brain, you can only fit two people in here. Well, you got all this money.
From a Vet to an Excursion.
So I got the Vet for when me and a girl would want to go out, and a big 4-wheel drive, super duper, you know, Excursion. So I paid $48,000 for an Excursion, and I paid $38,000 on a used Corvette. And then I thought I was living the dream. Yeah. But it was fast. It was glitz and glamour, and that's why I try to live by the rule now. And people love how I'm the king of comparisons. I say, you got to remember things like love, things that happen way too fast. You got to remember, if it comes to you way too fast and it comes to you way too easy, it's like fireworks. And people go, what do you mean? I said, fireworks are quick to go up in the air, and they're quick to pop, and they're quick to look pretty, but they're also quick to go out. And then what do you have? You don't have nothing.
Yeah, because where's your Vet now?
Well, I blew my back out, and the first thing I had to sell was the Vet.
And where's your Excursion?
And then after only being on disability, I had to sell the Excursion. And then all those friends moved out.
Oh, of course.
Because all the partying was over.
Yeah.
So the fun Scotty with all the cool toys and the hot tub, all that disappeared. And that's, you know, that's why I try to tell people is all the glitz and glamour. When all the glitz and glamour was gone, who was left?
Yeah.
You know,
gotta love those kind of friends, huh?
And it just it is what it is.
I was the opposite. I didn't have but one childhood friend because my father was so strict that I guess they would say, well, we don't want to go over there. But then they wanted to come over, but they didn't really stay to play with us long because my parents were so rigid, you know, on time.
Yeah.
But I just kind of like, was an introvert and began to just read everything I could. I would just read. So, you know, it was a little different for me, but later on I learned that wasn't always healthy either. I needed to explore, and go and have, as you said earlier, have some fun. You know, there's nothing wrong with going out and go to a different restaurant, go to a different bar, go to a different, you know what I mean?
Try something different. And that's what I tell people is when I almost died, I looked at the fact that I did this and this and this and this and this every day. And it was repetition. It was the same thing every day. And I said, you know what? I need to start living different. There's so many foods out there I've not had.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this. Here in Georgia, there's like 15, or I could be exaggeration. I'm just throwing out a number. Covered bridges that are like real covered bridges that have been here for X number of years. Make a personal mission to go see those bridges.
Now, what's
just
a
to
covered
say
bridge? What's a
the old style wooden bridge that you drive through like a tunnel.
Okay.
There's like one in Watkinsville that I know is 100-something years old. So think about
my dad was a bridge inspector.
See, so and there's like the Golden Gate Bridge. Never seen it. Be kind of cool to go see it one day.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon would be cool to go see one day. The largest spool of yarn might be cool to go see one day.
Yeah.
Think of how many great sunsets on this planet are out there that we take for granted every day.
Yep.
How many great sunrises?
Yep.
I mean, have you ever driven by a place and go, man, I bet you that would be one heck of a sunrise. But then do you ever tell yourself, honey, let's get up early tomorrow and let's go see that sunrise. I know it's got to be hot. And even if it's not hot, it's still going to be great because you're going to be with me.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a coffee joint down the road and we'll go get something good. When did we quit being these people?
Yeah.
And I think we just become these people and we didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Because it was nothing for, when my dad was in town, myself, my brother, we would jump in the van, or excuse me, the truck or the van. We had a van too. And we'd just drive wherever we ended up. If we ended up at a campground, we would camp out in the van. We just drove and just spent time, family time together.
It just doesn't happen.
People are, I think we in this culture now, this new cultural dynamic, are afraid of space, aloneness, time away from what I'm comfortable with. We're afraid of that because then you can hear yourself talk. You can hear stupid stuff that you say. You can see the decisions may not be as clear, as responsible as they should be. There's something about it, back to what Scotty was saying too, about getting out in nature.
Yes.
That okay, now I'm seeing the beauty of something and I don't want to see that. Some people just don't want to venture out because they know, that it's going to require of them, even nature, is going to require a different response. I see people when I drive sometimes, I don't see it as often as I used to, but they'll throw stuff out the window.
Yes.
Trash out the window.
That's horrible.
But when you have an appreciation for nature, and I won't lie, I've taken, how you take the paper off the straw.
Yeah.
Now I ain't gonna lie, I've thrown that out the window. But,
or the gum wrapper.
Yeah. But I mean, once you start appreciating life, then you take different turns to enjoy it.
Yes.
And it may not be acceptable to someone else, but as long as it's safe and secure, you know what I'm saying? It should be something that we should try to do.
I tell you, one of the funnest things that we used to do growing up that I remember, we would drive to Dahlonega and we would pan for gold. It was just something, it was very.
Wouldn't that just be neat to do for no reason other than just doing it?
It was awesome. And then we would go to Maggie Valley. And my most favorite thing up there in Maggie Valley, Ghost Town, there was this chicken. And I remember it like, I can see the chicken in there. And you would put quarters in it and you were playing tic-tac-toe against the chicken. And we would sit there and we would play it because it didn't matter how many quarters you put in there or where you started putting the X's or the O's first, that chicken always beat you.
Is this a live chicken?
It was a live chicken that was in a little
machine.
And when you put the money in, and he would go and pick out where he wanted his X or his O. and then it would go back because it would spit out food for it on the inside.
Right.
So he'd go and get the food and then go back, and it was I don't know, something, you know, kind of stupid, but it was fun.
Yeah, but I can't even imagine that. That's awesome.
Yeah, because we would sit there and we would say, okay, we're going to beat the chicken this time.
Right.
You know, I remember seeing my pawpaw stand there, and he must have spent about $50 trying to beat that chicken.
What?
And, you know, that's just some of the fun family things that we would go and do.
Yeah, but like I need to say, you know, what happened to that? What happened?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here analyzing it in my own head, and I'm like, we have so done this to ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
We really have.
And technology has helped us.
Oh, yeah.
Because before the video games were real popular, we had some sense.
Well, how about phones? So my daughter. So there was a joke made about a year and a half ago where I said, you sit at the kitchen table. And first, when we moved into this house 2, 3, 4 years ago, I tried to make us all eat at the kitchen table. I wanted to make us quit what we're doing and do that. Now we've gotten lazy and we're sitting at the couch again.
Yeah.
And when we're out eating, we're all playing on our phone. It's not just one. It's all, and I am just as guilty as anybody. We have become addicted to the reach of the technology. I mean, think about it this way. Kids don't even know what an encyclopedia is anymore. Yeah. And how many people, me and my wife actually had this as a debate the other day. How many people, instead of trying to figure something out, go, I'll just
Google it. Right. Yeah.
How many people, I did this. Right. I did this after we talked about it. I needed to figure out how to fix something on the car. I YouTubed it. It's ridiculous. I have become the very creature I have spoken about, but I'm just as guilty. Right. So what do we do to kind of change it? What do we make a conscious decision to be better? And the problem, and maybe this is kind of like the riot. If I make a conscious decision to get better or try to be better, does the other 99%, do they change too? Or do I give up because they're not going to change either? I think maybe as a society, we've lost the effort of trying because we know they're not trying. It's
tit for tat sort of.
Yeah, it's like, what do? I still try to push my positivity every day. I've got people that reach out to us every day and say, man, thank you very much. Heck, I was getting gas yesterday for the bus. I was getting a lady had her hair pulled up, had sunglasses on, so I didn't even recognize her. She's at the other end of the gas station pumping gas. I still didn't recognize it, but I'm telling you because because of what she did. So as she's circling to leave, she pulls up and just smiles, and she gives me the thumbs up with the Just for Fun radio because they watch what we do. You know, I was leaving Outback one night and I heard an older gentleman in his 70s who I could not tell you who he is. And it was real cool to see him and his wife go, yeah, that's him. I pay attention to all the good stuff he does. So that's good that they see it, but that just means I need to keep doing it. Because if one can see it, if 100 can see it, I need 1,000 to see it. I need 2,000 to see it.
But that's just the point that's why we're here. I think part of the problem has been the question that I used to ask myself: why does it take so long for good to catch on? Why does it take so long for good to catch on? Why does the thug and the punk and the player get all the breaks, and the guys who are really out in the community doing what they're supposed to be doing can't get a sponsor? I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
Why does it take a tragedy like 9/11 to have everybody come together?
Right. And it's because what DJ just said is that you feel so alone sometimes when you're doing a project. And that's why I drove over here from the airport.
Right.
I dropped the lady off, and I had told Oz on Friday, I says, I need to come over there and hang out with DJ Scotty. And I don't know, what is going to become of it, but I need relationships with people who are positive. I need relationships with people who are doing things. But that's all talk until I actually drive and
make the effort that you just talked about.
Right. And I drove over here, and in my mind is trying to tell me, because I drive all over Atlanta for my black car service. My mind's trying to tell me, well, that's gonna be far. What? Anyway, I go to Roswell, Alpharetta. So I just follow the deed through. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? And that's what the listeners have to understand, is that until you actually follow through with the idea, it's never going to give you the benefits of what you may think, or never exceed your expectations. You've got to do something different. Speaking of the rights, listen real quick, because this is just for fun radio, and I learn brands and try to represent. I got a website for Good Cop Deed. So let me see if I can go ahead on and real quickly go down the list here. All right, this is from the Huffington Post, Good Cops page 1. Officer responding to a shoplifting call buys a single dad the baby formula. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
If most police officers are good cops, these are even better. Let's just go into that article for just a little quick bit. But anyway, I'm from the Huffington Post is where I'm at. As the protesters around the nation continue to call for police reform, they are regularly reminded of an important fact. While some officers abuse their power, the majority are good cops. For every officer who visits harm on someone or violates the public's trust, there are countless others who follow the rules and who want nothing more than to protect, serve, and return home safe at the end of their shift. I'm not going to even read no more of that because that just proves the point of what we were saying earlier. Another article about good cops. This is how cops should treat homeless people. Steve Wick doesn't just patrol people on the streets of Houston. He befriends them too. The sergeant helped run the city's homeless outreach team. Another story, watch police surprise needy family with Christmas tree after answering their 911 call. Another article, when a man's wheelchair got stuck in a storm, this cop did something great. Another article, it says, watch, what do you think this cop's about to do? Let's go to that article real quick. Police in San Antonio are searching for a mystery man. Hold on, it's just still coming up here. It's coming up. Don't you hate it when you do
I know, if you weren't hurrying, right?
Police in San Antonio are searching for a mystery man, but it's not a criminal suspect. It's one of their own officers who's been going viral on Facebook. The officer, who hasn't been identified, stopped when he saw a 12-year-old Jacob acquire playing basketball with his brothers. I thought I was in trouble when he pulled up. See, that's what we got to change right there.
That's right.
Yes.
I thought I was in trouble when he pulled up, the kid said. And said, but he wasn't in trouble. Turns out the cop just wanted to play some one-on-one. Back to what the DJ just said. Why can't we just have some fun, right?
Yes.
I just hate it that we all, it's kind of like what I was saying is we already see everything negative and then we just keep getting fed negative. And we're always going to see negative if that's all they're feeding us. I always make the joke, and unfortunately that's what sells.
But that's why we're here.
Well, I mean, that's why we need Good News Atlanta. Come on, man. I mean, it just blows my mind. And I know proper English is probably what the news wants, but you need somebody with some personality. I don't need to keep seeing the guy reading the cue cards who has no personality because he's reading what somebody else that has no personality wrote. I need somebody saying, like me and you and Steph, sitting there and some guy come in and go, let me show you how to cook soul food mixed with Mexican food.
Oh,
I mean,
sounds good.
but you see my point. Let's blend the world because we're already such a blended nation anyways. Why not? Why are we not doing something productive? I went to Conyers. And said, listen, y'all got this TV stuff that is y'all's for your own cable channel. I said, I will give you a free show. I will bring you once a week just for fun, for free, and we will run your station, and you have your TV guy, do whatever. We're going to talk about what happened last week in Conyers, what's happening this week in Conyers, and what's happening next week. Let's bring in the local guy who's the cool teenage guy that can play the trumpet but play jazz, which anybody that plays jazz means it's not written. So that means that guy's creative genius is coming through right then and there. Let's bring in the local artist who can paint. Or
what they say when you
we can't do that. I said, I ain't charging you nothing. We can't do that. Why can't you do it? You own it because we can't do that. And I'm like, because they're scared that if we bring in that, then they have to allow the racist guy to have his show, the political guy to have his show, the real church guy have his show. I'm like, why do we have to always? But I understand they have their rules. But it's like, this would be all about Conyers. This wouldn't be about just for fun. This would be what's
Mhm.
happening in Conyers.
Right.
So
and people will be properly informed.
that's right. I
Yes.
just, man, there's a whole world out there that needs to be
that's
changed.
The good thing about the internet, the good thing about the internet now is that we don't have to worry about the red tape of trying to get things done. We can go ahead and begin the process ourselves.
Yes.
It's a lot of work, to do it, but in the end, if we stick to it, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think you've made a difference in my life because you've reintroduced the word that was a standout in college, which was play and fun. And even though we're grown and we got responsibilities and grandkids, because I've got 8 grandkids. I know you probably don't believe it, but I got 8 grandkids.
Wow.
We can still have a lot of fun. We can make up for lost time. We can't change the
That's
past,
right.
But if we look at life differently, life can give us much more benefits than we ever.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And the funny thing is 90% of the fun is free and it's right here in your own home and you don't see it.
Yeah.
You don't stop. You don't stop. It's okay. You don't stop long enough to see what you got.
Right.
Steph, as much as I mess with y'all about mudding, it's good, clean fun, cost you nothing but fuel,
Exactly.
and
we can do it
I
as
get
a
it, and you
family.
can do it as a family. So I joke, call you redneck and make fun of it, but you know what? You're out doing something. I'm
And we're
proud
not
of you
getting in
for doing
trouble.
it. I'm proud of you for doing it,
Yeah.
If I could stand getting muddy like that and getting hot and sweaty, I would probably be with you. But, my thing is I have to now make myself take time to do these things. And that's the other thing that hopefully one listener can walk away today saying, I hope I realize that I need to take that minute to spend with my mom or my grandma or my dad or my brother, because, tomorrow's not promised.
Right.
So you better take advantage of what you got now because you don't know where it's going to be tomorrow.
Right.
Well, look, we're at that 10:25. I know we're going to be wrapping it up. Kathy Bragg, do you have the Kathy Bragg info she just sent me?
Yes. And
Make sure you plug that.
I actually pulled it up and I will be sharing this for her. This Saturday at 6:30, the gates open at 6:30. There is it's called the CARE Scholarship Fundraiser Concert. And it's going to be Tiger Bragg, Kathy Bragg, Dustin
Pardon
Bragg. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the gate. And kids 11 and under are free. It's at the old Porterdale Gym. You can bring your picnic basket. Sorry, I'm getting choked up on my. Anyways, you can bring your cooler, blanket, and your entire family, and that's going to be at 6:30 at the old Porterdale Gym, and that's located at 2201 Main Street, Porterdale, Georgia.
Well, and there's so many good, like I said, there's so many good things that's local. And that's what we're trying to make people understand. There's so many things that you can do, and you don't have to drive anywhere out of your own town to do half the things. All you got to do is just do them. You got to want to get up to do them.
And Oz, that's why we love him so much, is he is going above and beyond to try to get community-based programs or.
Well, the old way wasn't working.
Right.
And that's the thing that aggravates me. The old wasn't working. And what have we been saying? You keep trying the same thing over and over again. You're not going to do anything but repeat and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, come on. I admire Tubby. Tubby decided, you know what? I've already done this RC racing stuff. I'm going to start racing slot cars. He jumps into a whole realm that he knew nothing about.
Yes.
He loves it. His wife goes. She's got her own race cars now. She loves it. Their daughters now up there doing it.
Yes.
And it's good, clean fun. And it's like, come on, man. Why can't everybody just find something?
Speaking of race cars, did you go to the Midi, or do you know anybody that went to the Midi this past weekend? Yeah, I want to go so bad.
No, man, I sure don't.
Tickets were about $75.
Yeah, and see,
Wow.
we did the Relay for Life, and we're dealing with that all weekend. And
Oh, yes.
and again, like I said, that was kind of cool. But
yes.
but working it, I think I'm working so much, I'm missing so much too.
Yeah.
But that's the world I live
But
in.
part of your work is not work. A part of it is your ability to take the skill set that you have and show people that it's partly fun.
Yeah. Oh
Yes.
God. Yeah. Now I have fun doing what I do.
Yeah,
Trust me. If I would have known as a kid that rush I got out of doing the wrong stuff,
Right.
if I would have known the rush I get out of this was the same equivalent,
Right.
then the first DJ gear I had when I was 19, I never would have sold. I would have just kept going. And who knows where I would have been. But I wasn't this person. So it would have done me no good.
But you should educate the listener, though, on what you just said, because that may be the closing point of the day. They're thinking that the wrong thing that they're doing, that rush, is better than.
Nah. Let me tell you something. The rush I get being on stage with 3, 4, 1,000, it doesn't matter. The rush I get being on stage and being funny, the rah is better than any rush I've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, I've raced on 285. I've raced a Corvette and had my Ninja up over 160 miles an hour. That was a good buzz. That was a good rush. But I get it every day now with a microphone. Before my back blew out, I was climbing cell phone towers, changing that blinking light, getting paid good cash. And I've got pictures of me climbing one that's 450 feet, and it's 450 feet off the ground, but then we're also elevated over the side of 85. So where 85 goes, there was me and a smokestack and a tower between Grady, and down in the middle was 85 shooting between us in Atlanta. And I'm higher than the Capitol. You can see the Capitol in the background. You can see everything in the background. And I thought that was the biggest rush in the world because my life was 100% on the line. If my hand would have slipped, my foot would have slipped, I'd have just been dead. And I still get that rush every day on the stage. It's 24 inches off the ground. So I didn't even have to leave Earth, and I'm getting the same rush. And I try to tell people, you just got to find what it is you like. Half the time you don't know that you don't like. You've not experienced it, which goes back to peak, repeat. You keep trying the same crap, and you're not willing to expand your horizons and try new things.
Try change your perspective.
That's right.
I remember I didn't like yogurt for a long time because I smelled it one day and it smelled sour.
Oh, it smells awful.
Yeah, back in those days, they didn't have the flavored stuff. You know, that's all.
Yeah.
Right.
But I said, I will never have any sour milk because it smelled like sour milk. But then, I don't know when I was first introduced to it. I tried it. And I was like, you mean to tell me I've been missing this all this time?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's like sushi. I mean, I finally decided to try sushi, and it's like, wow, man, you know?
Yeah.
Stephanie, you still we're not talking about cutting. We're not talking about cutting up your live bait and eating it. We're not talking minnows.
Or anchovies.
Yeah.
Minnows. Minnows.
So how about this?
Say it right. Minnows.
I just got this from a listener. Just so you know, today's show has been a huge impact on me. Thank you guys. Y'all are awesome.
Yeah.
And then I got free Suge Knight.
Yeah, Nick Priest also sent that today was an awesome show.
I just want everybody to experience. Now, today wasn't cutting up and being funny as crazy as normal, but this is a glimpse into the real DJ Scotty, because everybody wants to say they don't know the real me. Well, you got a chance to meet the real me today. If you ever sit and have a conversation with me, or if you read my Facebook, you'll get to meet the real me. But there's a lot to this. I like to have fun. I like to make fun of stupid situations because, come on, man, tension breaker. The life's hard enough.
DJ, you're a C4 type of guy, though. If they're not ready to explode and change, it's no sense to them.
That's you're right.
That's
good. That's a good way of saying it.
You're C4. I'm gonna call you C4.
C4.
That's cool.
This is very dangerous and explosive personality, and if you can't handle all sides of the effects, then just clear the area.
And that's funny because Crystal, your wife, is C1.
Yeah, that is funny.
And then Crystal Miller
there is a C3,
C2.
and then that's funny, the C4. That is hilarious that he just came up with that.
Yes.
Because when we worked at this bar, my wife is Crystal. One of our good friends was Crystal, and then there was a girl at the bar named Crystal. So if I yelled Crystal over the mic, everybody turned around. So I had to label them C1, C2, C3. So for you to now say C4, you had no idea.
Yeah.
You had no idea. You just said that. But there's a C1, C2, C3, C4. That is hilarious. That fit together the way it did.
Wow. Yes. Military grade.
That is hilarious.
Seriously.
So, well, look, y'all, it's 10:32. We got to get going. And I just found out FedEx tried to drop something off, and I needed it, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. So, All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. And you know, Steph, I will not be here tomorrow.
No, he won't. It'll
Redneck
be all,
Steph will be trying to drive this ship tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll be trying to
and
drive
Thursday.
the fun bus.
So she's going to do a Wednesday show, a Thursday show.
Yes.
Most likely going to take Friday off.
Yes, most likely.
But she's not decided. There will not be any video. Let's not complicate it and cause her to have to try to run too much.
And don't bombard me with song requests,
And yeah,
please.
don't ask for song requests. And I told her, even if the commercials don't play right, just you know, throw out some shout outs to our sponsors. And I said, as long as you press that talk button so the microphones work, that's all I'm really worried about is providing a show. Commercials, the sponsors will understand.
Yes. Especially because it's
Chef
me.
Matthias, holy cow, there goes the neighborhood.
I'm gonna try to come out, as I told you, and help you out.
Yeah, man, Thursday, that'd be great.
Text me your time that you're gonna go on the air, and you know whatever time frames, and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna have some fun.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks to Coach coming in today. Thanks for Oz coming in. Made for some great chats, and you know, it's really, you know, I don't want to quote Whitney Houston, but come on, man. Our kids are the future, and it's up to us to guide our kids, because our world right now is in, not necessarily in their hands, but boy, it's fixing to be. And what's going to happen when we're 60 and 70 and 80, and those people we didn't train properly will be running our world?
From Chris. Chris with Ravens. He said, there will be a Friday show. Play me some Freebird.
Oh, my God. All right, everybody, let's get out of here. And listen, I'm shooting off to Tupac, Changes, because that's the song every day I keep trying to tell people. The old way wasn't working, man. We've got to try something new.
Can you put that in my headphones?
So here we go, everybody. Here's a little Tupac to get it started. Everybody, y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Yeah, just shoot me your schedule for tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Later, y'all.